One little warning. Please don't anybody make a mistake. Talladega, where will is just as important as skill.
It's about 12 feet wide. They're going to put a car in it.
Talladega, where even the best driver is just a passenger on racing's freight train of fate.
And 3 wide behind you.
This is unbelievable.
Here, the leader of the train makes tracks to victory lane. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 3 straight wins at Talladega Superspeedway. But sometimes the train leaves the track. Contact! Off the body's over! Uh-oh, trouble! Tumbling hard onto the pavement in turn 3. Talladega. A 500-mile race of nerves, where the distance from the white flag to the checkered flag can seem even longer. Do they all make it back around? And who's the first one to the checkered flag? NBC Sports presents the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series, live from Talladega, Alabama. Today, NASCAR's biggest names compete at its biggest track. Fast cars bunched in big packs, and the challenge: make the big move, but not the big mistake. The chase for the Nextel Cup has come to Talladega. NBC Sports is your exclusive home for the final 8 races of the 2004 season. Now, let's take you trackside here at Talladega and join today's pre-race ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, will you please rise and remove your hats as the Max Honor Guard presents today's colors. And now, will you please welcome
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of this day. Thank you for the gift of life. We ask your blessings upon this great event. We pray for our president, for our leadership, for our country. We pray, Father, your blessings upon the drivers and the crews. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and welcome 3 incredible young men who've overcome many obstacles to be with us here today. Please welcome the B-Boys from Helen Keller School in Talladega, Alabama for our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see fun under the eye? What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's gleaming, whose bright triumphs and rise up through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we walked were so gallantly gleaming, and the rocky England sing our first
piece of NASCAR's proud racing history. Today, under the bright yellow and black Nextel Cup banner, the past and the present come race to face at Talladega. NBC Sports presents the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series, live from Talladega, Alabama. Today, the chase for the championship comes to NASCAR's biggest track, more than 2.5 miles around. With turns banked at 33 degrees, this is not just another speedway. It is a menacing piece of pavement where your foot gets all the credit, but your brain really does all the work. Hi, everybody. Bill Weber along with Wally Dellenbach and Benny Parsons. Welcome to Talladega. As we talked about on the Discover Card Countdown to Green, our buddy Alan Bestwick not with us this week. Wednesday night, while playing hockey, he suffered a double break in the lower portion of his left leg. He had surgery on Thursday. We talked to him just a little while ago on the telephone. He's heading home today to begin the most difficult part of his recovery, watching this race lying down on the couch. So, Alan, from all of us here at NBC and our entire race team and the guys down in the garage, get well soon, and we look forward to seeing you at Kansas City. Now, about the race. They run around. Oh, wait a second. Before we get to the race, you gave Alan some tips on hockey.
Yeah, I told Alan that. I said, Alan, listen, these kids are a lot tougher than they look, but it's been a dream of Alan's to play Pee Wee hockey, but it cost him to be here this weekend, so hurry back.
And that's about the end of the sympathy, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, now running around here at Talladega, they do it in huge bunches, and this is the reason why. It's the restrictor plate. It robs the carburetor of air. It robs the engine of horsepower. It slows everybody down, puts them in big packs, and that leads to
the big one, the big crash, and that's what every team is concerned about. Walking through the garage here this morning, it's not, is there going to be a big crash? What lap do you think it's going to be on? In the spring, Kurt Busch, 97, gets tapped by the 20 car. He spins up the racetrack. There's no place for these cars to go except into the Kurt Busch car. And, you know, these drivers are very aggressive because they know they can win the race today. 35 teams, all these guys are aggressive, but Wally, one place you can't be aggressive.
You got to watch about getting on the pits, because I'll tell you what, it's tricky here. We see every year these guys come down pit lane, locking up the front tires. You can't do that. You got to be careful with your brakes. See Nemechek here doing it. You can't do it. Nemechek was practicing yesterday, getting a pit lane, so it's very important. Another thing you can't do, can't get in side by side. NASCAR's going to bust you if you get down in the pit lane side by side.
Let's go trackside and join the pre-race ceremonies for the command.
And now, race fans, will you please welcome back Paul Tuttle Sr. and Paul Tuttle Jr. from Orange County Choppers for the most famous words in motorsports. Gentlemen,
Start your engine!
So the engines fire at Talladega, 188 laps before the checkered flag. We'll find out how long these drivers can hold their breath. NBC's coverage of NASCAR Nextel Cup racing from Talladega is brought to you by Ford, the official truck of NASCAR. By Nextel coast-to-coast walkie-talkie. Nextel, done. By Cialis. Ask your doctor if a free sample of Cialis is right for you. By Domino's Pizza, the official pizza of NASCAR. And by new M3 Power from Gillette, the new power behind the Gillette Young Guns. Fans pack the infield here at Talladega, and leading the field around from the Orange County Choppers, the owners Paul Tuttle Sr. and Jr. And they unveil the chopper here over the weekend that not only commemorates this track's 35th anniversary celebration, but also benefits the Victory Junction Gang Camp. Budweiser. Budweiser is the official beer of NASCAR. It's the proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Nextel Cup race. Budweiser congratulates Joe Nemechek for this weekend's pole, and he's the latest driver eligible for the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona in 2005. Take a look at the starting grid. 188 laps around this 2.66-mile track. Front row Joe, alongside the veteran Ricky Rudd. You see the drivers, their car numbers, and, of course, their crew chiefs also listed below them. In row 2, Dale Jarrett, former winner here, and Scott Riggs with an outstanding qualifying run.
On the inside of row 3, Jeff Gordon. Going for 3 straight restrictor plate wins. Elliott Sadler, last year's pole winner on the outside.
Matt Kenseth, the defending series champion, and Kurt Busch share row 4.
Back in row 5, it's Jeremy Mayfield and Dale Earnhardt Jr., the favorite for the victory here today.
Hermie Sadler is basically in a Yates car, isn't he, BP?
Yes, he is, and tickled to death.
Looking forward to a good run. Jeff Burton and Michael Waltrip looking for his first win since this race 1 year ago.
Inside of row 8, Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson, teammates of Jeff Gordon on the outside.
The field starts to roll off here at Talladega. Mark Martin and Jeff Green make up row 9. And back there in row 10, you'll find Ryan Newman, last week's winner, and Ricky Craven. Now, BP, you got a radio over there? You want to talk to somebody today?
I sure do. I want to try to talk to Jamie McMurray. He's starting back in the 24th position. Hey, Jamie, Benny Parsons up in the booth. You got me?
10-4, loud and clear.
All right, Jamie, you're starting 24th in a Dodge. I just looked it up. Dodge hasn't won a race here since 1976. Can you do something about that today?
Well, we've been on a really good run the last 6 or 7 races, and haven't really changed anything on this car all weekend. It's been pretty good. This place is just all about, getting in the right line and having some friends be in. So hopefully got a cool paint team this weekend, and it sure would be nice to break that streak.
I was going to say, those folks in Alabama love that paint job.
They said they like Auburn football, and all used to be big Davey Allison fans, so it's pretty cool to get to be the guy in this car this weekend.
Good luck, Jamie.
10-4.
And that paint scheme is the one Davey Allison used in the 1990 season in the Nextel Cup Series.
Davey Allison from Hueytown, Alabama, about 50, 60 miles from here.
Kenny Wallace, driving a DEI entry, starts shotgun on the field. Kevin LePage, Carl Long, and Kirk Shelmerdine failed to qualify for today's race, and moving to the back of the pack, Carl Edwards, because he was not here for qualifying because he was getting ready for the truck race in Fontana. News from pit road early. Let's go to Marty.
Yeah, Bill, a developing story with a 16 car of Greg Biffle. NASCAR does a random spoiler check before the race started. His spoiler did not meet the requirements. 55 degrees. They are now checking it again. They have are making adjustments to it to get it to the standard height at which it should be. If teams lay the spoiler back, these cars are much, much faster. So that was what might have been going on. We don't want to speculate, but we will talk to Doug Richard, the crew chief, who is the one working on the rear spoiler, as you see in a moment.
All right, thanks, Marty. Pace laps here take a while. The fans already on their feet, waiting for the green flag at Talladega. And that's coming up when NASCAR on NBC continues. Dale Earnhardt Sr. won here 10 times. No other driver has more than 4 victories at Talladega, but his son Dale Jr. could change that today. The field still on their pace laps. Let's get some final stories from pit road. Matt?
Bill, 35 years ago, a driver named Richard Childress unloaded a Grand National, now called Nextel Cup car, right here in Talladega to make his debut as a driver. He never won as a driver, but he won here 9 times, as you mentioned, as an owner, 9 of those with Dale Earnhardt. Now, Kevin Harvick's never won a restrictor plate race. He finished 2nd here in 2003. In fact, he was the most productive plate driver in 2003, 4th best this year. He hasn't won in over a year. He told me after final practice he has a great car. He thinks that drought will end today. Dave?
Matt, this weekend, Carl Edwards has flown 4,700 nautical miles, and he's raced 200 of the 700 NASCAR miles he has planned. Last night in California, he finished 10th in a Craftsman Truck Series race. Flew back here, arrived at 3:30 a.m. They didn't wake him up until he had to get ready for the 11:30 a.m. drivers meeting. And now his car moves to the rear of the field because someone else qualified it, Dave Blaney, so he'll have to start from the rear. I talked to Carl just a few moments ago. He's fresh, he's ready to go, and he still loves being a NASCAR driver, even with all the miles. Marty?
Dave, just to follow up on the 16 story with Greg Biffle, no word yet from the NASCAR tower as to what the penalty might be. They're holding the 16 car on pit road behind me. I did ask Doug Richard, the crew chief, if he wanted to talk about it. Doug said he would rather not talk about it. One of Greg's beef is, as you can see the 16 rolling behind me now, one of Greg's beef is, Wally and Benny, you can talk about this, he doesn't think you should set the spoiler with the driver in the car. Obviously, that puts more weight in the car, so that would make it a different setting than what it would normally be without the driver in the car.
Yeah, you'd think that
When you qualify, they don't. You have to be out of the car.
I think they check the car on the end of pit road with the driver in the car, I think. But here's a big concern for Greg Biffle. He has been sitting on pit road all the pace laps. He does not have any idea what 55 miles per hour is on his tachometer, and that is pit road speed.
And he will go to the end of the longest line, which basically last.
And he will try and get some of that information from some of his other teammates, if that's possible, if they can share that on pit road. There's much more NASCAR at NBCSports.com. Benny Parsons previews every Nextel Cup race, and you can see who he's picking to win today. I'm sure he's out on a real thin limb there. It's all at NBCSports.com. No comment?
No comment. Who would you pick to win? Everybody would pick to win. That car, the red one right there.
Well, we can do all of our homework, talk to all the teams, get all of our notes together, and get ready for this race. But once they drop the green flag, all we do is watch and wait. And that's what we're going to do. 43 cars, 143,000 seats here at Talladega, and of course, a jam-packed infield. Fans everywhere. Beautiful day, sun is shining, temperature about 80 degrees. Palms are sweaty, knees are knocking, and that's just me.
And there's no start-finish line there, folks. No, it's way on down towards turn one.
And look at them side by side, because they're not going to be side by side, just too wide. They're going to be 3 and 4 wide here real quick.
And the green flag is out at Talladega. Joe Nemechek leads the field across the line.
Fully up to speed. Some of these cars you can see obviously got a better start depending on how they're geared than some of these other guys, but here they'll start fanning out, going 3 and 4 wide.
We'll see Kurt Busch on the outside. I'm sorry, that's Ricky Rudd.
Right.
Ricky Rudd on the outside pole center, and look at Scott Riggs go to the high side. 3 wide, 2, 3, and 4.
He's a rookie. Riggs is in that 10 car on the left-hand side of your screen. Nemechek still leads.
4 wide back there. About the middle of the pack.
Off of 4.
Oh, here we go.
Through the tri-oval. Then coming toward the start-finish line right there. Nemechek leads lap 1.
And you have to be so precise right now, especially these guys in the middle. They can't make a mistake. You got to be completely aware of what's all around you, because just one wrong move right here can take out most of the field.
The ticker at the top of the screen, those names in yellow and black, your 10 drivers in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Riggs in the middle.
Elliott Sadler's got him a really good spot, way up on the outside, 3 wide. He looked like second one in turn 3. Looks like he's going to be about 5th or 6th off turn 4.
Here comes Riggs. And I would think, especially early on, that this middle line would be the best line, because fresh tires, your car's going to handle real well right now in the middle. But that'll change after you get some wear on these tires.
Dave Burns, Scott Riggs leads at Talladega.
I talked to Scott early today holding his son Lane, and he told me, I'm so excited to run Talladega today with this fast race car. Talked to Tony Stewart about who to follow. Stewart said the guys who have won the last few races here from DEI, but right now, Riggs is learning how to do it out front.
Yep, let him follow you. Well, no, now he's got follow 38 car and Elliott Sadler. And this is going to happen all day long. We're going to see a lot of changes like this.
Now there's finally Kurt Busch on the outside, trying to take the lead in the 97 car, followed by the 8, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Matt.
Spotters are so important, especially here at Talladega. Dale Earnhardt Jr. told his spotter, Steve Neal, before the green, one thing today, don't leave me with any guesses. If you can't, if you're not sure, then just tell me someone's there. You cannot talk too much today. Tell me everything.
No question, man. Very, very tight quarters here. A lot of guys want a lot of mirrors. Some of them don't. But although the spotter is very important to you. You still have to feel where these guys are at, and you can actually feel where the cars are at. You can feel the wind in different places of the car. You got to be perfect when you get in line.
Jimmy Johnson told me this morning in the garage area that you spend about 90% of your time looking in the mirror, looking behind you, about 5% or 10% looking ahead. That's probably an exaggeration, but I think I'm trying to make a point. You keep trying to figure out who's behind you, who's beside of you.
And not only that, but if you see a guy making a run, say in the line up on the high side, you want to jump out in front of that guy, and he will push you to the front. So yeah, mirror driving is very, very important here at Talladega.
A sea of red cheering Dale Earnhardt Jr., the leader, but 2 cars behind him, his teammate, the 15 of Michael Waltrip. That's what everybody on the track, everybody along pit road.
Boy, that McMurray really had a moment there in the 42 car. They were just about 4 wide. He bobbled a little bit, but they all got through it.
The 15 of Waltrip and the 97. There's the 42 getting the push, and he went around in practice here yesterday. McMurray did.
He spun out going in turn 3 yesterday. And yes, the 30 car, yes, folks, he was pushing the 42 at 190 miles per hour.
What we call the bump draft. You'll see a lot of that at this racetrack. You just want to make sure you're doing it when the cars are straight. Don't want to even do it in the tri-oval because you can turn a guy around real easy.
Marty, more on the 42, please.
And because of that bump draft, Bill, that Wally was talking about, the 42 car, Jamie McMurray, has extra bars in the rear of it and extra bars in the front of it. There are more bars and plates in that 42 car than they have in a Bristol car because they'll know they'll get pushed, and they will push other cars during the day-to-day.
And you see the 42's got a teammate, and he's hoping he'll use that rear bumper. Sterling Marlin in the 40 car. You want to get pushed. You want to get pushed by your teammate especially.
More on the leader of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt.
Bill, some fans at home may have been wondering, was that indeed Junior getting a thumbs up to the flagman Rodney Wise? And it was. There was actually a bet. Rodney bet Junior that he wouldn't be in the lead by lap 4. As he came down to the start-finish line, the complete lap 4, he says, what lap is this? He said, you've got to bet. Keep going.
And he has now led the last 11 restrictor plate races, Dale Earnhardt Jr. He is tough at these tracks.
2 cars back behind his teammate, Michael Waltrip, in that 15 car. You get those 2 guys together, and the rest of the field is in trouble.
Elliott Sadler's not going to let him do that, though. At least he's going to try not to.
Try not to.
And we see the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson, followed by Tony Stewart, the orange car, the 20 car. Jeff Burton, those guys trying to take the high line. How about Marty?
Moving smartly to the front, VP started 30th, currently up to the top 10 is Tony Stewart. He told me right before he got in the car, this car will draft very well, but the one thing it cannot do is pull other cars. I don't like it out front, but I like to push people, and he's pushing Jimmy Johnson right now.
Who is he ever? I tell you what, they're going someplace too on that high side.
And you see just that little push that Tony Stewart gave Jimmy Johnson 48 car really shot him up the racetrack. Passed a couple of cars there.
Michael Waltrip thought about going up and getting in front of the 48 and trying to take it high line, but he decided against it. Matt.
BP, he's trying to get up there and help the 8 car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. can't quite make it there yet. All quiet on Michael's radio, but Slugger Labby told me during final practice they changed everything and they got a little more oomph, but they felt like should really help him in the draft, trying to make up some room on some other cars.
Tony Eury Sr., the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr., told me in the garage this morning that those 3 drivers, Earnhardt Jr., Waltrip, and Kenny Wallace, met yesterday afternoon and came up with a plan, and the Junior's car is geared to lead, and the 15 and the one of Kenny Wallace are geared to push. But they came up with that. Actually, Michael went to Earnhardt Jr. during the week to talk about a race plan here at Talladega, so we'll see how that works out.
It's a good thing that they had a plan because up at Loudon, New Hampshire just a couple of weeks ago, Junior was very critical of Michael for not playing more of a teammate. He felt like he blocked him when he came out of the 5th one time and impeded his progress, and he was very hot. It looks like they've kissed him.
We'll see what it comes down to when it comes down to the victory, because everybody wants to win.
We're going to break away. If anything happens, we'll, as always, break right back in. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads at Talladega. Talladega Super Speedway in Alabama. You haven't missed a thing at the front of the field. Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues to lead, followed by Elliott Sadler and Michael Waltrip.
How about this 29 car? Kevin Harvick trying to go by Michael Waltrip on the outside, but
He got no help.
he has no help.
Here comes Mark Martin behind him in the 6th car. Maybe can get there. If that outside line can catch Harvick, looks like they're running pretty good. They may give Harvick quite a push. Whoa, Mark is coming fast on the 29 car. Here's where the bump draft will come into play and push the 29 car up.
88 of Dale Jarrett jumps out of line. You have to stay inside of that yellow line. That's the out-of-bounds line. You cannot go down below that line and pass. If you do, NASCAR could penalize you.
And if you could, they would.
Boy, look at that. That is a pack.
Let's put you in the middle of that pack. How about that?
This will look ugly.
Cool.
Robbie Gordon, the singular car, number 31 as he follows 41 of Casey Mears.
And here's our singular race talk poll. Which driver has the best chance to win his first restrictor plate race today? Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Ricky Rudd, or Rusty Wallace?
And look at that 41 car there in front and the way that car is moving around. It's moving around a pretty high speed, and you feel that in these cars. I mean, these cars aren't stable whatsoever. Now, here comes Robbie, bump draft, boom. Give him a good shot. Now, you got to make sure you do that. You don't want to do that any later than he did it, because if he would have do that any later, as he was turning into the corner, he would have turned that car sideways.
Jimmy Johnson has the aspirations of leading this. Junior says, come on, stay behind me. And that's why they use the mirror so much, to see when they're trying to pass so they can go over and make the block.
Those cars aren't just fast, they're wide sometimes too, aren't they? More on the 8. Back to Matt.
Bill, it's early, but already the DEI guys are already getting together their game plan of when they're going to pit and who's all going to pit with them. Tony Eury Jr., the car chief for Dale Jr., was down in the 1 pit, and Kenny Wallace already coming up to their game plan of when and exactly what lap they're going to come in.
And you know what? All these other guys got to have a game plan of keeping them separated.
You know, when you start talking about a pit stop, some of these cars might be able to run, 37, 38 laps. But if all the lead cars, Kyle Petty, left rear tires.
Yeah, we're going to do 4 tires of fuel.
Dave Burns?
Look at that left rear tire, guys. Does that look low to you?
Yep.
Flat. Kyle radioed in. He believed it was a rear tire. Didn't know which one, but he had to come on pit road all by himself. And, guys, this is what can really hurt you, having to leave all by yourself. No drafting.
Oh, yeah. You're going to go down the lap very easy. And then, like you say, when you get back out there, you've got nobody to draft with, so you're going to be a lot slower than that pack right there. That is so drafting.
Now, these...
Junior continues to lead. Elliott Sadler has slipped back to 7th in this pack, racing alongside the 1 car of Kenny Wallace. Elliott Sadler would love to go to victory lane here, but he knows this is a tough track to master.
Talladega is definitely the scariest race that we have in the Final 10. That's one we highlighted. It's the wild card race, because as a team and as a race car driver, you can bring the best car you got. You can run a perfect race, but it's hard to ask 43 guys to be perfect for 3.5 hours side by side. You get caught up in somebody else's stuff so easily. You have definitely a lot more to lose and more to gain at Talladega. So that's a race that I can't wait to be over with. I can't wait till Sunday night. Hopefully we've seen all 500 miles of that race. If we do that, we really think we've got a great shot at winning this championship.
Elliott Sadler 6th in the 10-man chase for the Nextel Cup. More on the 38 car from Marty.
And somewhere in the middle of that gaggle, you kind of go to the low of the racetrack. The man he's looking for to help him out is 2 cars behind him, Jeff Gordon. He said before the race, he talked to me, said by far the car we drafted with the best, the 24 car. If he can get in front of me, I know we can go to the front.
And that's what some of these guys, when you're in a car, you'll follow somebody, and it'll be different with every other car. I mean, and you'll finally find a car that all of a sudden you run fast with. For some reason, that car in front of you breaks the air better. So these guys are looking for really good dancing partners.
More on the race leader. Here's Matt.
Bill, in final practice, that's exactly what Dale Earnhardt Jr. did. He had the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield draft up behind him, also the 20 of Tony Stewart. He worked with Jimmy Johnson, just trying to see if somebody else's car worked better with his and whose car didn't work well with his.
Well, the 8 car is working okay, and a little bit behind him.
Man, that was close. I don't don't know if the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson knew that Kurt Busch was up there, but that was close.
Very, very close. And, man, I've been in the wrecks when the leader wrecked. And about, I think, 26 cars ended up being in the wreck. And it went on for about 60 seconds.
You weren't the leader, were you?
I was fifth.
Okay.
But I was a wrecker.
That 15 car is Michael Waltrip. The one car directly behind him is Kenny Wallace. They are teammates for this race out of DEI, of course, with the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. There you see the 15, the blue car with the Napa on the hood. Right behind him, Kenny Wallace. About halfway through the first fuel run. All green here at Talladega. Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues to lead. Back at Talladega, the pack coming to the line, and this time Jimmy Johnson leads them around. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been shuffled back, and also the 29 of Kevin Harvick went roaring by the 8 just about a lap ago.
But did he lead a lap? He was
right.
in front, but I'm not sure he led a lap. Dave Burns.
29 car, they've worked very, very hard on that car where you can't see. Underneath the car, I talked to Todd Barrier, crew chief, this morning. They worked on the underside of that car, took it to the wind tunnel to try to find out if they could make the air move better, get this car through the air better. They made some gains, even though it's the same car they run all year, since they last ran a restrictor plate race.
Now you see Robbie Gordon there in the 31 cars. And I'm sure Harvick is looking for his teammate. Although Robbie's going to go by. There's a shot from Robbie's car right there. Running very good. Matt, that car's running pretty good, Robbie's.
Wally, like a lot of teams here in April, some drivers on a team, they can run on the bottom, but they can't run on the high side, and that's the problem with the 31 of Robbie Gordon. He says his car just does not like it when he has to run on the bottom lane. That's why he's moved up to that second lane. Now, let's take a look. This happened just a second ago. Maybe a close call. Watch the 17 at the top of your screen, top left-hand side.
Yeah, you see Jeremy Mayfield, 19 car, looks like got him loose or touched him. Watch the hand come out of the window. Matt Kent's just going, man, what are you doing?
I didn't think they'd get their hands that far out the window.
No, when you're mad, you can get that arm pretty far out.
I'm not sure you want to take your hands off the wheel. Here's our Miller Lite race back. Darrell Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt are the only 2 drivers to sweep Talladega races and win the championship in the same year. And Jeff Gordon came into today's race trying to do exactly that. Won here in the spring, hoping to get the win today and race on to his 5th Nextel Cup championship.
Now, we have run 26 laps already, and you wonder, these guys only have a 14-gallon fuel cell in these cars, so they will have to stop somewhere around lap 35. But if your cars you're running with can only run 33, 34, that's when you've got to stop, because you cannot stop by yourself. You'll end up on the racetrack by yourself, no drafting partners, and they'll lap you in about 30 laps.
And this is when sometimes the pack will get separated. It's when they come in, because there's going to be some mistakes made. There's going to be some guys that don't get up to speed as well. So right now, you've got a big pack. We'll see what happens after the pit stop.
Johnson leads. Matt with more on the 48.
Not a surprise, Bill, to see that the 97 of Busch and the 48 of Jimmy Johnson have teamed up. Their spotters, in fact, stand side by side up on top of the spotter stand. They always work well together on the plate tracks. Marty?
Same for the Roush cars, Matt, and they're trying to work a strategy for stop number 1. The Roush cars cannot go as far as many of the other cars, only about 34 to 35 laps. They're trying to work some strategy with the 97 car, and his teammate Matt Kenseth also trying to run Elliott Sadler into the mix. Pit stops are coming up, Marty. We'll be back for those. Jimmy Johnson leads. He was 5th at Daytona, 4th here in the spring, and 2nd at Daytona in July. We are under caution at Talladega, the 09 car.
Left rear tire is flat. It looks like that Mike Wallace...
I'm coming straight to pit road.
That's a good point. Good plan. Looks like going in turn 3, blew the left rear tire, and...
Boy, lucky they can catch up. Yeah, a lot of other guys in that.
Right, it looks like everybody got through it. And that's what's left of Mike Wallace's tire.
And that's a good plan. Go straight to the pits. Don't try to ride around the racetrack on a flat tire.
Let's ride with Ryan Newman. He's in the back of the pack.
You can see the tire come apart right there.
All around, got to check it up ahead.
Here's the scary part.
Outside.
Right back up across the racetrack.
Outside.
That's what you have to watch out for. The
this place.
On board with Tony Stewart in the Home Depot ride.
See, now they know the 09 car is going up the racetrack. They slow down as soon as he starts up. They drive to the bottom where he was because hopefully he will not be there when they get to that point.
So Mike Wallace on pit road, and soon to follow the rest of the field, because this is right at the edge, the beginning of their pit window when teams were beginning to have conversations about coming in.
And this is actually, you know, I said earlier, when they come in, it's going to split them up. Not going to split them up now because they're all coming in together.
And that's what teams were hoping for. The good teams were hoping it would split them up, separate the cars on the track.
Now, when these cars come down pit road, NASCAR in the meeting this morning, warn them, strongly warn them, you've got to enter pit road single file. Do not enter double file. If you do, we'll have a conversation.
And and that's more of an issue, I think, when they're coming in under green than it is more under yellow. Everybody will behave themselves here.
Pit road is open. This is a quickie yellow. That means everyone can pit, and everyone probably will. Here they come. The long pit road here at Talladega. Marty Snyder.
Can't build a second-place man in the championship. Kurt Busch got one goal out of the way today. He's already led a lap, gets a fresh bottle of water. Because the car's a little tight and less stable than it was yesterday. 4 tires, no chassis changes, Dave.
Kevin Harvick went through his pit. Mike Sears, the jack man, went over the hood, landed on the tarmac, got himself back up, comes around to jack the car at this point. They were going to make a 4-tire stop and no changes, but Kevin hit the brakes and nothing happened. Matt?
2-tire change for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, but he was blocked in by the 1 car of Kenny Wallace. A slow departure from his pit. He could have gained some track position. He did not.
Okay, it is legal to come off pit road 2-3 wide. That's legal. Dave.
Guys, Mike Sears looked up at the pit box to crew chief Todd Barrier, gave him a big thumbs up. He's a tough guy.
That's another thing you got to be careful is when you're locking your tires up in your pit box. As you'll see, the 29 car comes in, gets on the brake, locks up the right front. You can't stop. You can't do anything until it stops sliding.
Mike, good job, Mike.
Well, he needed to get up because there's a bunch of cars coming down the pit road. So
I did not think he was that athletic, but Mike, I'm impressed.
Oh, yeah. Those big guys can move fast sometimes,
especially when you're scared.
So, under caution, now cleaning up the pit stall of Kevin Harvick. Back to Talladega in a moment. Kurt Busch's pit crew captured the McDonald's drive-through pit championship, fueled by Powerade in Sunday's 400-mile race at Dover, Delaware last Sunday. Elliott Sadler continues to lead among the teams participating in the season-long competition.
That's worth about $200,000. Tony Stewart just made his pit stop. Marty?
Little strategy play by Greg Zipadelli, VP, and I think it's a good one. They stayed out, led a lap, got 5 bonus points, then came down pit road, took their 4 tires. Car was a little tight, made a wedge adjustment. Their strategy is to stay in the back anyway, so they really didn't lose anything.
That's right. They're running back there, so that was a good move.
The strategy almost backfired because Mike Wallace was right in front of Tony Stewart.
That's right.
When he went across the racetrack with that blown left rear tire.
Still under caution here at Talladega. Caution laps take a while. We'll get in some commercial time and come back for the green flag at Talladega. Casey Mears scored as the leader. NBC's coverage of NASCAR Nextel Cup racing from Talladega is brought to you by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's moving forward. By Old Spice Red Zone, stay in the zone. By UPS, the official express delivery company of NASCAR. UPS, we want to race the truck. People love the truck. And by Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. Coming around to get the green, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led 19 laps, currently scored 3rd. This was the conversation on his radio a moment ago.
Things stumbling like hell on idle. It won't run by itself. If I let off the gas, the motor shuts off. The only thing keeping it running is the 6th gear. If I get back on the gas, it's stumbling like hell. It's doing it coming into the pits and everything. I'm not sure what the stumbling is there, Neil Dieter. Not really sure at all.
We'll find out here in a hurry. Casey Mears out front 41 car with BP got a good start, and that's not
good sometimes on a super speedway if you get a good start.
That's what the guys behind you get a good running start to blow by you down the backstretch.
Look at this,
that.
Matt.
Whoa! Good move, Robbie Gordon.
Go ahead, Matt, jump on in there.
Well, you heard Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to describe the engine on that 8 car and how it's performing. Tony Eury Sr., the crew chief, told me he thinks there's possibly some debris in the lower side of the carburetor. They feel like a lap or two, they're going to know a lot more on whether that's going to be okay or not. But there is a lot of concern down here in the 8 pit.
Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car, leader of that lap.
So far, in the first 35 laps of this race, the 48 car looks to be as fast as anyone.
Yep, I agree.
He might be the measure of Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car.
And there's his teammate right there, 24 car, third car in the high line, trying to get there. Kurt Busch also has a very good car. That 97 car is right in front of Jeff Gordon.
Johnson, of course, in the chase for the championship. As they run now, Kurt Busch with a 22-point lead over Dale Earnhardt Jr. This will change every lap throughout the race until the checkered flag finally falls today.
Yeah, it's not like showing it to you like if we were at Dover or somewhere like that. It's going to just be all over the map today.
That 41 car of Casey Mears, painted pink this week, only it's not really paint now, is it, BP?
No, that's a decal. His sponsor, Target, trying to bring some awareness to the breast cancer in the month of October.
Going to run that a couple more times this month.
Tell you what, that car is very strong today. He's done a really good job with that car. I thought they would just blow by him, but he's hanging tough.
Johnson continues to lead. That's the 48. Matt's got more.
Some teams have been running the restrictor plate cars all year. Chad Knaus, the crew chief for Jimmy Johnson, began building this car back in February. It's making its race debut today. Been to the wind tunnel once and to a track test once. He told me they're going to try to win this title by being aggressive. This is a very good race car. He's been saving it for here, trying to get a good punch.
Matt, Jeff Gordon is running one of the 2 lines that he likes. Early in the race, his car was stuck down on the bottom. He does not like that line. He'd rather be in the middle or on the high side. Guys, there's a 4th group out there, too, but they don't like to talk about that.
Talking to Chad Knaus, the crew chief for Jimmy Johnson in the garage this morning. His driver likes these restrictor plate races and has been very good at them basically since he got in that 48 car.
And you know, you talked about the 24 car running on the bottom. If you're going to run on that bottom lane, your car's got to be very good. It's got to be handling great. You can't be in room for error because all you're going to do is move up. And there's no room to move up, especially when they're running 3 wide. If you're on a high line, you've got a little bit more room for that car to drift if it's not handling so well. So if you're going to run the bottom, you better be very good.
And this field now is starting to break apart just a little bit.
There's 11 cars. Ricky Craven, a car out of Joe Gibbs. A team car to Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte this week.
Craven's in 9th right now, having a great run.
That lead pack 28 cars deep.
Jeff Gordon needs some help right now. He needs those guys on the outside to get up a little bit closer and get that line a little bit tighter.
Car behind you is the last car in single file.
See these cars in front, they've all gotten in line, and they're really using that draft to try to pull away from the big pack of cars. Let's go inside our Home Depot garage and talk about drafting just a little bit. As our car goes down the racetrack, it goes through the air, and you see what happens behind. There's a void. There's much less resistance for that car in the back to drive up right behind the car. Therefore, he's able to go up and, as we talk about, give him that shove to push it past other cars. And so hopefully take the lead and win the EA Sports 500.
And 2 cars are faster than 1, but also 12 or 15 cars in line are really fast. So that's why you've got to be having a lot of help out there.
The pole speed here, just under 191 miles per hour. But you put these guys in the draft, more guys in a line, more speed, 196.693 miles per hour. And again, these cars run with a restrictor plate here that reduces airflow to the engine and drops that engine of horsepower. Is that Rusty Wallace? Thinking about leading at Talladega?
He did. Rusty leads at Talladega.
All right. And Junior, the 8 car, trying to hook on with Rusty. The 48 car has Kurt Busch behind him in the black number 97.
It looks like Junior's car. Well, he's getting past there. I was going to say he may like the high line a little bit better.
More on Rusty Wallace from Dave.
The clearest example we've seen so far today, Bill, of the fact that you don't have to qualify well at Talladega in order to lead at Talladega. Rusty's car by itself in qualifying Friday was only 33rd fastest. He's a driver that wants to get to the front, though, so he's raced his way to the front and now leads the entire field.
Everything's okay, Junior now, but I'll let you know if I have any problems.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Boy, they're all over the back of his car.
He may be struggling a little bit.
Yeah, you hate to say it, but his car does not look as good as it was before pit stops. Well, how about the 8, Matt?
Bill, earlier in the race, he told Tony Sr. that the car was free on entry, tight in the middle, and tied off. Sport tire change made a chassis adjustment, but the biggest thing, he said the car just will not run by itself. That's why he's needing a good push from some other drivers.
Well, these guys smell blood. Guess what? They're going to dump that 8 car as fast as they can, because if they think he's got a problem, and that gets through the spotters to the drivers, they won't run with the 8 car.
Yeah, they want him in the back because they realize the 8 car in front can be trouble. Matt?
And, Benny, that's what Jeff Gordon told me after he won his Daytona 500 back in 1999. He says, at that point, nobody would run with me. I couldn't get help from anybody. And like you mentioned, if the word gets out, which teams are listening to our broadcast, Junior may have a lot of work to do today.
Take a look at the Wendy's race menu. Upcoming telecast right here on NBC, your exclusive home for the chase for the Nextel Cup. We're in Kansas City next Sunday afternoon, then October 16th, under the light in Charlotte. Then after that, the short track at Martinsville, then the blistering quick Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's the month of October, your Wendy's race menu right here on NBC.
Go ahead, VP. I just was going to say I saw Clay Campbell, the president of Martinsville, and Ed Clark, the president of Atlanta Motor Speedway, both here today watching this. Can't wait for these cars to come to their racetrack.
Hey, I'm impressed with that 41 car right now. He's been in the middle. He's been in the thick of it. Doing a good job, Casey Mears.
Now take a look at this. Rusty Wallace scored as the leader, but only got 13% of the vote in our Singular Wireless race poll.
The poll must have happened when the 48 car was leading.
Of course so.
Did you hear that car bottom out up in the corner?
17 cars bottoming out, too, at Matt Kenseth. I've been watching that the last 5 or 6 laps.
44 laps on the board. Rusty Wallace leads them back to the start-finish line here at Talladega. Wallace, who will retire after next season. 85 races at Daytona and Talladega. Never stopped in victory lane, but he could today. They are side by side and flying around the Talladega Super Speedway. Last lap, Jimmy Johnson took the lead from Rusty Wallace, and Johnson in front now, ready to bring the field back to the start-finish line. Behind him, the 97 of Kurt Busch. Sorry, Wally.
Kurt Busch is wanting out front by looks of it. You can tell him he keeps jogging to the left, right. He's looking for an opening. I think he's got the car to lead this thing, but he's going to need somebody to go with him if he does pull out.
So the 48 leads. We're going to take you through the field. Only here at Talladega with everything going on, it's more like around the field. I miss being down there for this. But Matt, go ahead and get it started.
Jimmy Johnson trying for some points, trying to score his first restrictor plate win, and leading some of those bonus points also, Marty, and trying to pick up more.
And Matt Kurt Busch is the one behind him, kind of pushing him right now. He said his car's been a little bit tight, but very happy with it. And made no changes on the chassis the last time. Same car he drove at Daytona in the 500, got a lap down, but ran with the leaders. Dave?
The best finish ever at Talladega for Rusty Wallace is a 5th, trying to do much better today. He's already been out front. The last pit stop, no changes to the chassis, just a little tape off the front. He's running a little hot. Matt?
Dale Jr.'s wingman, Michael Waltrip, they made an air pressure adjustment in the right front. Just said the car was Skady on that right front, trying to end a winless streak dating back to a year ago this weekend, Dave.
They worked on the handling for Jeff Gordon's car in the last pit stop. A little bit of tape on the car because it was running cool, and an air pressure adjustment on the left rear tire. 29 car of Kevin Harvick has been moving that inside line. Again, checking in the pit. Jackman Mike Sears is okay. They made no changes to the chassis for Kevin on that stop. Marty?
Before the race, Elliott Sadler told me last week at Dover was our throwaway race. They finished 20th. We need a top 10 today. Car running very well. A little bit loose on the first run. They went, or tight. They went up on the track bar. Matt?
Kenny Wallace, whose best finish here is second back in 2000, running in the 8th position, as I said a whole lot on the radio. He was very happy with the car. They made an air pressure adjustment in the right rear on that stop. Meanwhile, his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. has climbed up to the 9th position. Hasn't said a whole lot on the radio. He did say the engine doesn't seem to be stumbling like it was before. And Casey Mears finished 8th here in April, was looking forward to coming back. Felt like if they had that green-white checkered flag, he might have had an opportunity to even improve on that, Marty.
Matt Kenseth said he's good when other cars are out in front of him. His car cannot lead the race. He said it's slicker than I've ever seen it here. Very slick on the racetrack. Dave?
Ford Burton's crew had a slow pit stop the first time. The air gun on the front jammed, but they were able to still make the tire change, track bar and air pressure adjustment, because the car was a little bit tight. Matt?
And Robbie Gordon just climbed to the 12th position. No adjustments on that last stop. He said the car was okay. After he went up to the top groove, he started moving forward. After the team looked back to their notes from the April race, that's exactly what the car did then, too, Marty.
Somewhere in that pack, Matt, is Ricky Craven in the 11 red car. There he is, beside the 30 car of Jeff Burton's. He was coming back from a fishing trip when he got a call from J.D. Gibbs asking me if he'd drive this weekend. He said, sure. Car a little bit loose, but running great right now, Matt.
A little tight off for Jeff Burton in the 30 car. A little loose in the middle, but he said not enough to make an adjustment. No changes on that last stop, Dave.
After starting and staying up front for a while, Scott Rick's car went tight, so on the last stop, they made an air pressure adjustment for that car. It's been mostly good since. The 6 car of Mark Martin has dropped back a bit. No problem. Mark hasn't said anything since the pit stop, but he did report that he had no grip before that pit stop. They made the air pressure adjustment to try to help Mark. Matt?
Casey Kane started 23rd, currently runs in the 18th position. The car was tied off. They made some chassis adjustments. Last night, he went to Eldora, Ohio. Ran a sprint car race, had a lot of fun. Meanwhile, John Nemechek trying for a lot of fun here as well. Had a great car in April. Then they had a fitting break. The car overheated, the engine expired. They've got a lot of high hopes about today, Dave.
Scott Wimmer started in 29th, hasn't moved forward a whole lot. It's only his 3rd Talladega start, trying to do better than an average of 17.5 right now, finishing position. Marty?
As we start to follow the chasers, Jeremy Mayfield currently in the 28th position. He's kind of hanging in the back, 10th man in the championship. His car was loose on the first run. They went down on the track bar and took 4 tires. Matty?
Marty Ryan Newman in the 12th car. He's running back in 37th. He pitted twice into that last caution. The reason? Contact with the 20 and Tony Stewart caused some slight cosmetic damage to the left front corner of that race car. It made repairs. He hasn't said a whole lot on the radio about the car, Marty, but it was tight before.
Matt, the aforementioned Tony Stewart hanging out there back with Ryan Newman and Terry Labonte. He said, came on the radio and said, you know what? I've got Terry pushing me. Ryan's in our group. I'm comfortable where I am. 40th is where he is right now, and his teammate Bobby Labonte dropped back to where he was, saying, I'm going to let these guys chill out for a while. It's a little too crazy up front for me. I think the back is a little safer route.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well done down there on pit road, around the field here at Talladega. And while all that was going on, these guys are starting to get a little more aggressive, a little bit more moving around in those packs.
Well, and also they're getting a lot of time on their tires, and their tires are wearing out a little bit. They're starting to slide around. Nobody's really breaking away, so they're pretty much side by side. A lot of mirror driving.
Not that far away from the next round of pit stops. Jimmy Johnson is scored as the leader. He's got Rusty Wallace on his right side. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. 4-time series champion Jeff Gordon is now the leader at Talladega. The pack 41 cars long. And at the front of it, the 24 car of Gordon. And right behind him is teammate Jimmy Johnson in the 48. But there is some urgency about 3 or 4 rows behind him, especially if you're a guy like Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, Robbie Gordon in the 31 car can't see out of his windshield. Somebody's leaking water and oil in front of him. I don't know know how he's driving that car.
I don't either, and he's in the middle. There's cars right and left, and he...
3 wide, still 3 wide. I can't see out my windshield anymore.
Caution flag is out, checking for fluid on the racetrack.
Big break for Robbie. Now they'll tear off on the windshield, and he'll be able to see, but who's leaking it?
I think it's a big break for everybody around Robbie.
Yeah. That is so difficult. You can see through the windshield. You saw the windshield. It is very, very difficult.
So the caution comes out. 59 laps are complete. Our second caution of the day.
The 11 car of Craven, he was right behind 11, so that might be the vehicle that's losing fluids.
Well, that's a big break for Robbie, because Robbie was going to have to come in the pit lane and get that windshield clean. I don't know how he was driving it the way it was.
And what did his crew tell him when he said, I can't see anymore?
Stay focused.
Yeah. I can't focus on anything. Look at that.
I think it's the 11.
Okay, now you guys have been in these situations before. Take a look at this on board.
Well, and here, you see, this is from the camera, and you see it coming on. Robbie can't go anywhere. Yeah, I mean, you got cars on both sides of you, so it's not like I can't get out of the way if it's the 11 car.
But see, our camera has a tear-off. Do we go along, and all of a sudden we can't see?
Clean that up for us, thank you.
Right. Robbie doesn't have that luxury.
He doesn't have that luxury.
So it's somebody up ahead of him. I don't know if it's Ricky. It may be somebody further ahead, because that stuff is blowing all over the place.
Matt, how about it?
His eyes on top of the grandstand, Bill. Mike Dillon, his spotter, an even greater role when that windshield was dirtied up. In fact, Robbie asked for both tear-offs on both sides of that windshield to be torn off because he just has no visibility.
Now, the 11 car that was in front of him that looked like it might have been leaking the fluid, Ricky Craven on the radio has said that he has oil all over his windshield
So it's
as
somebody
well.
in front of him. So got Harvick up there, Washington, Sadler, Mears. One of those guys up there's got a problem.
And we're going to know before 188 laps are over, because you can't keep leaking fluid like that all day.
No, they'll run out eventually.
Okay, everybody coming to pit road, led by the race leader, Jeff Gordon, Marty Snyder.
Bill, unfortunately, the problem could be with Elliott Sadler. His alternator is going bad. He says he only has 8 volts on the battery. The AC has quit. Water at 260, oil at 285 right now. The chassis, just perfect, so don't make any changes to that. Dave?
24 put a Dayglow yellow piece of tape on the lower grill in the front. Little trouble coming around the car. There was a hole in the bottom. They were worried that something would go through the radiator. That piece should help them. Matt?
Tear-offs already taken off the windshield of Jimmy Johnson. They had a 2-tire change the first time. They had to go 4. This time almost blocked in again by the 1. He was tight. They made a track bar adjustment.
Well, I think Marty identified the guy leaking oil. The problem is these guys just got clean windshields.
Yeah.
They better not get behind the 38 car, because it's going to happen all over again.
Tony Stewart comes on the pit road, 4 tires.
He was at the back of the pack.
So there's no real urgency to get back on the racetrack, because that's where he wants to restart, somewhere near the rear.
Under caution at Talladega, 60 of 188 laps complete. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NBC's coverage of NASCAR Nextel Cup racing from Talladega is brought to you by Budweiser. It's time for a fresh one. Grab a Budweiser. The race is on. By Wrangler, makers of Wrangler Jeans Company, a new generation of Wrangler. By Chevy, the winningest name in racing, an American revolution. And by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff. Still under caution here at Talladega, but a development among one of our chase for the championship contenders. The 38 of Elliott Sadler, Marty Snyder has the story.
And the team, very poised, Bill, came down pit road. They changed the battery. Told you there was a battery issue on Elliott Sadler's car. They've taken the old battery out of the race car and put a new battery in the car. He only had about 8 volts. Did switch to the backup ignition box on the 8, and it still only had 8 volts. Now it has 11.5 volts, so I'll have to keep an eye on it. But they did a great job, 89 seconds to change the battery. We're going to be back to Talladega in a moment. Lots of things happening. Back in a moment.
Defending race champion Michael Waltrip brings the field to the green for the restart. Lap 63 here at the Talladega Superspeedway. And once again, it will take these cars about a lap and a half or 2 laps to get up to speed.
I think Jeff Gordon may take a look. If Jimmy Johnson was a little bit closer in the 48 car, I think Gordon may have popped out on the backstretch, but now he's dropping back.
picking up his teammate. Let's see if he makes a move.
Oh, there's a
salute.
So you're looking in the cars. I'm looking at the cars.
And that's exactly what they did. Jeff Gordon laid back a little bit. He picked up the 48 car, and they drove right by Michael Waltrip.
Because two are faster than one.
Yep.
And Casey Mears, Rusty Wallace came with him, and Kevin Harvick, the 29 car, is trying his best to get by Michael Waltrip. They're side by side.
Robbie Gordon in the middle of that pack. He was the one with all that moisture, all that liquid on his windshield. This was his conversation with his spotter under caution a moment ago.
Robbie, your voice changed tones there for a little while. Did you get excited?
I just couldn't see anything. I didn't want to cause a big wreck. Supposed to be a choir boy this next couple weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
Robbie's on probation by his team for some of his on-track behavior.
He's got a fast race car right now, man.
Sure does.
And you could see looking out that windshield, they only got half of the windshield tear-offs. He needs to get the other half on the next stop. They asked him if he wants to come back in under that caution to get the right side. He says, no, just make sure you get it on the next stop. I use all the windshield. Visibility here, so important with so many cars around me.
Sure, when you're 3 wide, especially when you're on the bottom, you're basically looking out the right side of your windshield. So I think Robbie better stay right where he's at on the high
Now
grid.
we can't see.
Something going on with the 20 car, Marty?
A developing issue for the 20 car of Tony Stewart. He came on the radio, told his guys, I have a bad vibration, mainly in the gear shifter knob. I don't know what to do about it right now. Greg Cipodelli told the guys, let's get a whole setup ready behind our pit box with a backup transmission and all the things we need to change it. But let's ride it out for right now and see if anything happens.
Tony Stewart, another contender in the 10-man chase for the Nextel Cup.
There you see the transmission. Getting ready to go in the 20 car in case they do have a problem with the one in the car.
That's in the back of the field. Up front, Rusty Wallace now. Trying to bring the pack back to the line.
Man, Rusty's got a fine ride today.
Boy, he seemed pretty upbeat yesterday and again this morning when we talked to him on Discover Car Countdown Green. Didn't he? There's Gordon on the inside.
I saw the 8-15 together just a moment ago, but there they are. 8 cars running about 5th right now, 6th. Trying to get hooked up with Michael Waltrip, the 15.
15 goes high, going around the 8 car of Earnhardt Jr. It just doesn't seem like those guys are working. I mean, they're working together, but they're not fast together.
Wally, that's a problem they've had all year. It just seems like the 8 and the 15 cars just aerodynamically don't work well together. Under the last caution, Junior said, I'm having fun. He also said, though, that I've got a car that can do it, but not as good as the car that's in the museum in Daytona, meaning his Daytona 500 winning car. This is Daytona USA. The biggest problem he had, the car was running very warm. The water temperature was climbing before that last caution.
All right, well, let's keep an eye on that.
That's not good.
Let's teach Weber something. Go ahead.
What are you going to do? What?
Phil, it's time, and you've got to learn to cue the duck.
Okay, we'll do it.
Folks in the trunk, cue the duck.
Okay.
Now you read what goes across the bottom.
This is our Aflac trivia question, I presume.
Yes.
Who was the only driver to win 3 straight restrictor plate races?
I know that answer.
You do?
Yep, you cheated in rehearsal.
I knew it in rehearsal.
3 straight. Earnhardt.
Yep. And you know who's trying to do that today?
And that didn't include the Daytona 500
right.
either.
Because he didn't win that race for another 8 years. But Jeff Gordon chasing his 3rd straight restrictor plate race, and that doesn't include the Daytona 500.
That's right. He beat Junior here in April, barely. And then he and Jimmy Johnson ran 1-2 in the Pepsi 400 in Daytona.
Yep. That was the race that started on Saturday and ended early Sunday morning. Rusty Wallace in the 2 with Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick shut out at victory lane since Indianapolis last year. Back to pit road, more from Marty.
The second battery not working for Elliott Sadler. It's holding right now at 9 volts. Definitely there is an alternator problem. It's not recharging the battery. The water is at 260 or 250. It ranges. They told him not let it go above 265. Oil about 270 for Elliott Sadler. So that has come down a little bit, but they do have a voltage issue on the 38 car.
Yeah, he's going to have to run out of the pack if he's going to get that car cooled down. So he's going to need to drop back, get some fresh air, Problem is, you lose the draft, so you're in trouble either way.
And Sadler, one of the 10 drivers in the chase for the Cup. You see the points as they run now, BP.
Jimmy Johnson pops out. Now, I'm not sure Jeff Gordon didn't let him do that. I think maybe Jeff feels the 48's faster. Maybe he'll see if he can lead the 24 up to the front of the pack.
Marty got a little more.
Well, just real quick, Bill, he's had to shut everything off in the car, and that includes his air-conditioned suit. So it's very hot inside these race cars. It's a warm day here at Talladega, so Elliott getting no circulating air inside the race car either. That can't help either, can it, Wally?
No, it can't. These cars are very hot to begin with, especially here at Talladega. You run the side window. It's like a furnace inside these cars. So if you have to turn off the air that normally goes to your helmet, it's going to heat up quick.
And the left side does not have a window in the car, but they spend a lot of time in the wind tunnel making sure that air doesn't go inside the car, that only hot air stays inside.
Right.
Here's our Stacker 2 track back. Drivers who won their first race of the season at Talladega happened 28 times. Man. This race used to be in July, moved to October for weather.
And this race went, I think, 13 years or something before there was a duplicate winner. Every time we came here, someone different, and a lot of times unusual winners.
Are you looking for the same guy I'm looking for? Well, there he is.
Yeah.
See, on the inside.
He went on first tonight in one lap.
Yep. That'll happen here.
It will.
And those teammates, Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. And there's Robbie Gordon, who couldn't see anything a few laps ago. Now he can see the lead.
Robbie's got a fast car today.
So Hendrick Motorsports running 1-2, Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, but the pack right on their bumper. If anything happens, we'll break in from Talladega. Well, they have really been mixing it up at the front of the field here at Talladega. 75 laps on the board. Jimmy Johnson scored as the leader last time by. Robbie Gordon led down the backstretch. Was about 5th by the time they got to the start-finish line.
I couldn't believe it. I saw him take the lead down the backstretch as it went by the line. And look, where'd he go?
I'll tell you what, the 41 car is wearing out that front bumper of his.
He's got some bumper damage, too, doesn't he?
He is.
In the left front?
He's fast. I mean, it looks hairy. You know what? It is hairy inside these cars right now. Cars are sliding all over the place.
Looks like he might have a little bit of damage on that left front just under the headlight there.
Michael Waltrip in the 15 leading the race a moment ago. A scary moment for him. Watch this.
I don't know where to watch.
I don't know where to watch it. Oh, there we go. Kenny Wallace from the one car comes down and didn't realize, I guess, that the 97 car of Kurt Busch was there. Almost ran in the side of it.
So that was the 1N97. Michael Waltrip not involved in that. Too busy getting his way to the front of the field.
There you see the damage where 41 has hit someone with the front bumper.
Someone. Everybody. Well, that's
a lot of guys going to be looking for some pink and white paint after this race is over. But Mears has done an outstanding job. Hanging on to the 15, and that's a good guy to hang on to.
That's a 48, Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon again. They've got a pretty good run down on the inside.
And the 31 is Robbie Gordon. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8. Now 3 wide.
He's going to sneak up on the outside. This is when the car gets loose, when you're in the middle.
That spaces him out for a heartbeat. Matt, how about an update on the 48?
So much of success here at Talladega Daytona is about your teammate, and sometimes it's your unofficial teammate. Jimmy Johnson has a lot of help from Jeff Gordon, but he also has another unofficial teammate driving a Ford today.
Well, that's painful sometimes working with that 97, but you guys are just doing awesome. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better wingman there. There's a couple times he had some runs he could have done something with, and he hooked us up, so I'm definitely going to be looking for him and work with him. That's awesome.
Okay, folks.
Those guys are down inside of him. Especially here. Stuck with you, man. Watch those guys. He's committed to you for whatever reason.
Especially here at the plate races, Jeremy Brickhouse, whose uncle won this race back in 1969, stands alongside Chris Osborne, Jimmy Johnson's spotter, as well as Ron Thiel, Jeff Gordon's spotter. They work very well together, especially here at the plate races.
Jeremy Brickhouse has been the spotter for Kurt Busch ever since he's been in, I guess he started with him in the trucks.
Once you find a guy like that, though, you don't want to let him go.
Yeah. And when you're out there running, sometimes you have a plan before the race. You're going to try to run with this guy, you're going to try to run with that guy, but a lot of times those plans don't work. You make friends out
A lot
on the
of times.
racetrack. Yeah, and you just...
Do you have any friends out there following when you're racing?
You know, actually, I don't know if they want to call me friends, but there are guys that I like running with, or you find people that you are comfortable with drafting, that your car is going to be fast with, and you know real quick, if they're hanging out to dry just once, they're not your friend anymore. So you go find another friend during the race.
And at the other end of that, there are guys you might not want to race around as well.
Yep, exactly.
It's Gordon and Gordon right there. Jeff in the 24, Robbie in the 31.
And Jeff Burton, the 30 car. Right behind Jeff Gordon.
You got three Childress cars right there. The 31 of Robbie, the 30 of Jeff, and the 29 of Kevin Harvick with the good wrench on the hood. Take a look at the Little Debbie lap leaders today at Talladega, and there have been a bunch of them. 13 different leaders so far. Jimmy Johnson has led the most laps.
Rusty Wallace, 15. I'm impressed with Rusty's car today.
He only wants to lead one, though. You know that, right?
The last one.
Yep. Talked about it, how much it would mean to him to win here at Talladega.
So to see Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, both those cars stayed out and led a lap to get those 5 bonus points. They might need them before the season is over.
And Newman is currently running 38th. Tony Stewart, 40th. Update on the 12 from Jochen.
He told his team that he feels like he's got a car capable of running up in the top 10, but he doesn't want to chance it. He's going to ride in the back. In fact, under the last caution, his teammate Rusty Wallace came on to Ryan's radio and said, "Is there anything I can do to help you?" He said, "No, I'm just riding, Martin."
Yeah, man, I just talked to Doug Yates about the plan for the 38 car of Elliott Sadler. They are still on 9 volts, holding steady right now. They, again, have the battery charging issue. If they get a long caution, they're going to certainly come in and change the battery again. They have a third battery here in the 38 pit. One thing they may try and do is actually change the alternator itself. Doug told me it should take about 4 to 5 minutes to do that, but if they did that, they would most likely lose a lap. He said it would be close, but they might try it if they somehow get a long caution.
Well, the first thing they got to do is get a caution. If they get one, it'll probably be a long one.
A couple other guys sneaking up in the pack here. Sterling Marlin right behind the 8 car. And Joe Nemechek, pole sitter.
And the 8 right on the bumper of the 24 of Jeff Gordon. On board with Earnhardt Jr.
You gonna let Michael in? You gonna let him in?
He's going to have to lift.
No, he's not gonna let him in.
And if Earnhardt's got the problem where if he gets off the throttle, like you were saying earlier, the engine dies, he can't lift.
And as we eavesdrop, here's what the 97 of Kurt Busch was saying about Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car.
I wish I knew what to do when the 8 was behind me. It sure so looks like I don't. He can pass at will.
What did he say, Bill?
Pass at will.
He can pass at will.
Which one is will? Matt?
I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. would second that. In fact, he told his team, "I'm just sitting back and lifting. I'll get back up there at some point when I feel like it. Don't worry, boys."
Something get your attention there a minute ago?
No.
It looks like he might feel like it, talking about Junior in the 8 car.
I think he's decided he wants to get back up front.
Just about 10 laps away from the next round of pit stops. Jimmy Johnson leads here at Talladega. NBC Sports live coverage of the chase for the Nextel Cup continues from Talladega, Alabama. 87 laps on the board, and Jimmy Johnson continues to lead, followed by Casey Mears and Jeff Gordon.
You saw that slow car down between 1 and 2. That was Ricky Craven, who had just made a pit stop, trying to get back up to speed.
Unfortunately, he's not going to have anybody to get him to speed with.
No.
And the rest of the field looking at pit stops not far from that.
Boy, this is going to be real interesting if this thing stays green and these guys making pit stops. Because getting on pit lane is going to be really exciting.
And again, they talked about this morning, they have to do it in single file, right,
Got to
guys?
be in single file. You can't go down there into the pits side by side.
And you talked about it, Wally. If these teams are planning on changing 2 tires, they can't slide those front tires. If they do, that means they've got to change them because they'll be flat spotted.
Right.
If it stays under green, you'd have to expect most of these guys will just change right side tires, wouldn't you think?
I would think so.
Definitely.
Because the gas tank, as I said, only holds 14 gallons, so it's not going to take 13 or 14 seconds to fill it up with fuel. They can do it in about 10, 11 seconds, about what time it takes to change the right side tires or left side
Plus,
tires.
you also eliminate the mistake, the possibility of mistakes, potential for mistakes on the left side. Take a look at how the Gillette Young Guns are doing today. Gillette, the first micro-powered shaving system from Gillette, the new M3 Power. It's the new power behind the Gillette Young Guns.
Well, they're all over the place, but there again, that's
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, check with us in 2 laps.
Yep. Although Ryan Newman has been deep in the field, but Harvick, very surprising because he was up with that front pack just like a lap or 2 ago.
He may be getting smart and getting in position to make his pit stop.
There he is. He's made up some ground there. Last time
Oh, wow.
Martin slide up there?
I don't know what happened, but Harvick all of a sudden was loose. He was in the middle. He was high and back in the middle again.
Carl Edwards in that white car, the 99.
And Mike Wallace in the 09. Remember, he blew the left rear tire and spun up in turn 3. Here he is back on the lead lap and
13th spot.
Yeah, 13th. Depends on when you look.
Well, they got to be thinking about it. Let's see. Got to get in position. You got to wave like heck when you're going to pit, and hopefully nobody will run in the back.
And you also have to have your fuel mileage figured correctly, because you don't want to be Jimmy Johnson right about there and run out.
No.
Because the big one we always talk about, that could definitely cause that.
Update on the 24 of Jeff Gordon from Dave Burns.
Well, I got a question for Wally. If the 24 likes the high line so much, wouldn't he be running the low line just to put himself into position better to enter pit lane?
I would think so. I would think so. I mean, these guys are getting ready to pit, and you want to be low. You don't want to be on the high side and then have to force your way down in. So I would think that they're just getting ready to come down pit lane.
There's a strong mix of Hendrick cars and DEI cars. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated machines at the front of the field. Jeff Gordon's thoughts on competing against DEI as a member of Hendrick Motorsports.
We've been very strong in the restrictor plate tracks for a number of years. Hendrick Motorsports, Hendrick Engines have you know, had that dominance before, know what it feels like. And when somebody it comes in, you know, like DEI has and really takes over the way they have, then you go to work.
And they have done their work.
They have gone to work, yes. Every one of those personnel at Hendrick Motorsports, all 300 of them or whatever.
Dale Earnhardt drives for DEI. An update on the 8 car from Matt.
His cousin and car chief Tony Uri Jr. just told him, get in position. We're going to pit in 2 laps.
And this is when the fun is about to start. Johnson continues to lead in the 48.
Looks like that rear bumper guard is loose on the 8 car. Looks like someone has got in the back of it pretty good. Maybe that's the 41 car.
That could be.
We saw where the 41 had a dent on the front bumper of his car.
See, now we need to get somebody with a front cam looking forward at him.
You know, a couple laps ago, going into turn 3, Earnhardt Jr. was on the outside of the 40, and I saw him stick his hand out the window with 2 fingers, telling Sterling, who was on the inside, we're coming in 2 laps.
The 38 on pit road. That's Elliott Sadler in front of Marty Snyder.
Yeah, and he's a 6th place man in the championship. You see the damage on the front grill that we talked about, kind of bent in a little bit. They had talked about 2 tires here, but then they decided to take 4 because a lot of the other teams on pit road are going to take 4 tires as well because we've run a fuel run. 9 volts on the voltmeter for Elliott Sadler, so that's not getting any better. 4 tires. The chassis is still excellent.
Hey, Marty, check that right front. It looked like he might have been low when he came in. I know he flat spotted it, but I thought maybe it might be low.
We expect some more of the leaders in this time. Let's see what happens. Marty?
They just flat spotted it, BP, when he came to pit
come the Hendrick teammates, the 48, the blue car of Jimmy Johnson. Behind him, the 24 of Jeff Gordon. You have to be single file.
Nope. They're trying.
97 of Kurt Busch in front of Marty.
Trying for his best ever restrictor plate finish, bettering the second place he had in the 2003 Daytona 500. The chassis has been terrific, just hanging out 4 tires. No changes, Dave.
Good chassis also for Jeff Gordon. No changes on the car. They will take on 4 tires. That piece of tape and plastic holding on the front of the car so far. Matt?
Jimmy Johnson having an awesome day. They're going to make a 4-tire change. The track bar adjustment has already been completed. The car was just a tick on the tight side. Plus are on, and he's down and away.
Wow, 16.5 for the 48. That's a long time, and these guys are taking 4 tires.
Yeah.
Now, if your partner takes 4, you better take 4.
Oh, he's in the grass. Casey Mears.
I think he's speeding, maybe.
And that's too bad because he's had a great run this afternoon. There's the 8 of Earnhardt Jr. heading for his stall. The 29 on pit road, Dave.
29 car, Kevin Harvick. Last time he came in, he did not overshoot his pit. Again, he lands it correct for the 29 car. He will take on 4 tires. Matt?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. reminded several times, take it easy on entry. Do not flash by your tires. They were making a 2-tire change. He had to pull out wide on the 01 and Nemechek.
Surprising. Some 2 tires.
It's a mad dash off of pit road now, and this will really break up the field. Brendan Gaughan currently scored as the race leader in the 77 car.
I don't know how much this is really going to split him up.
And the 41, Casey Mears, too fast entering.
You're kidding.
There's some visual evidence to support that.
Yes, there is.
Now take a look at this, Wally, exactly what you talked about on the countdown.
Yeah, he got in hot. He locked up the right front, and then he couldn't control the car.
Because he was
Went
running too fast.
going too fast, and he's got the right front flat, it looks like now, because you know what, when you lock up the right front tire coming in the pit, you're only going maybe 140, 150, but it's going to go flat. Unfortunately, that is going to cost him.
That's Brendan Gaughan in the 77, the yellow Kodak machine, followed by Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart. Those drivers have not pitted yet, but they're thinking about coming now.
And we see the 41 car going down for his penalty. And folks, it's awfully difficult to go from 190 to 55 miles per hour.
Marty Snyder on the 20.
Wow, you should see some of these guys come on pit road. Tony Stewart and all the guys at the back of the car. He slid through his pits. The guy that pushes the car back won't cost him too much, so the car has been pretty good for Tony. Just a little bit tight. They're going to go half round up on the track bar. 2 tires, Matt.
And Ryan Newman's also in. They're going to pull a tearaway off that windshield to help visibility. No adjustments on the 12 car. They pack it full of fuel, and he will go with right side tires only.
Bobby Labonte behind the 12, coming off of pit road.
It seems like that all the cars, about half of them changed 4 and about half changed 2.
But the guys that changed 4 are right there with the guys that changed 2.
Because it takes a lot longer than you think, I believe, Benny, to get that fuel in there. You're not really waiting that much longer on the 4 tires. How about it, Matt?
Tony Eury Jr. told me the reason why he in the 15 took 2 tires this stop, they wanted to see exactly what it would do. They know they're getting great tire wear, but they want to see what it will do with the race car in case they have to do that at the end of the race.
All these cars, 8, 97, 22, 33, 6, all those cars changed 2 tires. Now, the first car that changed 4, I'm not sure. Maybe
they're right behind him, coming fast.
Maybe Michael Walker back there somewhere.
Caution, objects in your rearview mirror may be faster than they appear. 77 of Brendan Gaughan, pass-through penalty, too fast entering pit road. That's a rookie error that he will pay for.
That is a rookie error. Casey Mears is not a rookie this year, but a fairly young driver. He learned a very valuable lesson there. How much difficult it is to slow down from 190 to 55 miles per hour.
99 laps complete at Talladega. Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues to lead, followed by Kurt Busch. He has 4 wins at this track, trying to get number 5. His dad had 10 at Talladega. The green flag hangs out over the Talladega Superspeedway on a sunny day. Temperature about 80 degrees. And to all of our friends in Alabama and throughout the Southeast, a nice day, and we wish you the best of luck in your work to recover from what has been a rugged hurricane season in this state and the neighboring states. Best of luck for all of you. Best of luck to these guys on the track trying to catch that 8-car, Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, the first 6 or 7 cars changed 2 tires on those pit stops. And somewhere back in here we have cars. Michael Waltrip goes underneath the 40 car.
That was close. Still close.
A lot of these cars in this big group of cars did in fact change 4 tires on that pit stop.
You know, the 48, the 24 took 4.
Yes.
These guys are all racing 3 abreast. All these cars out in front are single file. It's going to be tough to catch them if they're going to stay 3 abreast.
Michael Waltrip in the 15 car, a 2-tire stop. Got Robbie Gordon on his bumper, looking out the back of Michael's car.
Now, I think if they get side by side, just 2 rows of one, they'll run down those guys. But when they're 3 abreast like that, boy, they're pushing a lot of air.
And those guys in front are going to stay in single file.
Yeah. To their advantage. Now, somebody who's not going to catch the lead pack is
anytime soon
back here and way back. 17 car Matt Kenseth. And there goes the front pack. And we'll wait. And we'll wait. And we'll wait.
You sure they're out there?
There they are.
Oh.
3 cars will not run down 30-some cars.
Marty, how about the woes of Matt Kenseth?
Yeah, it was a woeful pit stop. About 17-plus seconds is what the team is saying on the pit stop. A couple of things happened on the stop. Matt was too close to the wall. They couldn't get the left side jacked up, and that was a problem. And they also have a little left rear damage, so they're having trouble hanging that left rear tire when they do come on pit road. So a multitude of problems have put the 17 pretty far back, and I'm not sure that pack, VP, can catch the front pack.
It doesn't look like it because they aren't showing enough speed now. They're about sometimes 3/4 tenths of a second slower than the leader.
Sorry, VP, go ahead.
As Wally said, it's difficult for these 3 cars running nose to tail to run down 6 or 7 cars running nose to tail.
But while this is going on, that second pack is roping in the first one. They got in single file like you suggested, Wally, and here they come.
Yeah, and when they do get there, I think those guys up front are maybe a little bit of trouble because, new tires are still better, or 4 tires still better than 2, even when you're at Talladega.
And there you see the 41 car, Casey Mears, the penalty that he's getting for coming on pit road too fast. He is now going a lap down to the leader.
He's right where he has been on the track, just not where he wants to be on the scoring sheet.
Really paying for it.
Dave Burns.
6-car Mark Martin was one of those cars that only took on 2 right side tires, guys. Talked to Pat Trice and the crew chief, and I asked, was that to see what it would do for later? I said, no, not really. We just wanted to move up to the front of the pack, or at least make sure we stayed with the front group, which is what they did.
I talked to Mark this morning, and remember in happy hour, he went out front, was out front making that fuel run, and we kept waiting for guys to pass him. Well, he said this morning he kept waiting for guys to pass him.
Some guys told me this morning that they could not pass the 6 car. He was that strong.
I think if you're on 2 tires right now and you're in this position, you're in a good position. You just ride. But if the guys on 4 tires get up there and start going 2 or 3 wide, I think the guys on 2 tires are in trouble because your car is going to be really sliding around a lot more than the guys on 4.
Well, you know all those mirrors you got in your car? Start using them because that pack's coming. How about our lows? Improvers and snoozers. Here are the guys moving forward.
How about Mike Wallace?
Yep.
Even the flat tire didn't do him any. He's up to 7th spot, 34th spot. He has gained.
And Kenny Wallace, who started 43rd, has been up in that front 5 or 6 for a lot of the races as well.
But now then, the other side, the snoozers.
They got Kenseth back there, trouble in the pits. Ricky Rudd and Dale Jarrett. And I think Dale Jarrett's back there by choice, I think. I mean, he's one of those guys that likes to drop back and let it all happen until the end. Then when the end of the race starts coming close, he gets back up to the front.
And again, that's right now. 30 seconds from now, we might have different snoozers.
6 different guys on there.
Jeff Gordon has caught that pack, and so have his friends. Marty.
109 laps in. Bill and Kurt Busch riding in second is learning how to win friends and influence people. Doing a good job in finding people to race with on the racetrack.
Clear. right there is the 8 car on my stuff right there.
Tell the 8 car what good of a friend I am.
10-4, man. It's going to line up. We're going to try to pull away from the rest of that group right there.
That's a conversation with Jeremy Brickhouse as spotter.
And I'm guessing that was, 3 or 4 laps ago, because those guys, while they were single file, the other pack has caught them. One car behind the wall at 32. Dave.
Bobby Hamilton Jr., they had repaired that front end damage from earlier, but it wrecked the radiator. They ran with it for a while. They finally said, let's take it behind the wall. We need to replace that radiator.
And Kurt Busch led that lap.
Wow. Is that Carl Edwards up against the fence? That white car looked like it.
He was up there yesterday in final practice, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. As a matter of fact, he hit the wall.
So Kurt Busch has moved in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. with Mark Martin currently running third. 109 laps on the board at Talladega. NBC's coverage of NASCAR Nextel Cup racing from Talladega is brought to you by the United States Army, an army of one. By Chevy, the winningest name in racing, an American revolution. By Coca-Cola, let's make it real. By Viagra, ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you. And by Discover Card, it pays to discover.
Well, I can say officially they're trying their best to find a place to race.
It has been wild. They are too wide, and now here they're found on the backstretch. Gordon and Earnhardt, door to door. Ward Burton led a lap while we were away. And that's the 97 of Kurt Busch, again, trying to work with Dale Earnhardt Jr., and they are new best friends.
And really don't have a lot of teammates working with each other right now. They're all separated.
Now, how about a family member, like a member of the Coca-Cola family of drivers?
I don't know if they'll keep that in mind or not.
No, maybe. We'll see. Elliott Sadler back in 19th, and Jared and Tony Stewart 28th and 31st.
And that's after 113 laps. We've got 114 on the board of 188. Okay, you can see how they're running in a big pack out there. The 8 of Earnhardt Jr. next to the 24 of Gordon. Will try and take you around the field. Be careful, boys. Matt?
Dale Jr. trying to inch his way into the lead, battling Jeff Gordon. Jr. one plate win this year. Gordon has 2. He's working the inside.
Member of the 24 team not here this week. John Smelser, the engine tuner. His twin brother Robert killed this week in a racing accident in California. And they almost have one right there, guys. Extra motivation for the 24 to win today.
Wow, it's getting intense up front. Kurt Busch just trying to survive all of that in the third position, at least for right now. They have made one chassis change to that car all day long. They took 4 tires on the last stop, which may set them up for 2 on the next stop. Excellent day so far for Kurt. Dave?
Marty, Ward Burton up front in a car that didn't see action until this weekend. Testing here on Friday, basically, during qualifying, and then Saturday. Very pleased with it so far. Few changes on the 0 car. 22 of Scott Wimmer, 2 tires on the last drop. No changes to the chassis. Tough rookie year, but remember, he finished at Daytona 3rd on the opening race of the year. 29 car of Kevin Harvick on the last stop. No changes to his car. 4 tires, and again, hitting his marks on pit lane. Marty?
Dave, what an excellent run for Mike Wallace. Sticking it in the middle and passing Ward Burton, leaving him out to dry. Now Mike in the 09 car recovering from the spin he had earlier on. He's a great drafter, showing why right now. Matt?
Pole sitter Joe Nemechek, one of the Hendrick engine cars in the race, having an awesome day, running in position. Very quiet on the radio. Meanwhile, Jeff Burton trying to get the 30 car to victory lane for the first time. He's up to 9th. No changes all day, Dave, on that 30 car.
40 car of Sterling Marlin, former winner here at Talladega. Great on the restrictor plate tracks. Running up front all day. And the last stop, no changes to his chassis. 4 tires. 10 car of Scott Rigg on the last stop. 2 right side tires for him. Again running up front after fading back earlier with a tight race car. They have it fixed. Matt?
And Jimmy Johnson, who was leading earlier in the day, has faded back. He's running in the 11th position, trying to make a run with Kenny Wallace in the 1 car. Kenny having a very nice nice run today. Very quiet on the radio. His DEI teammate Michael Waltrip is running in the 13th position. He, too, is quiet. 2 tires, like Dale Jr. on that last stop.
25 car of Brian Vickers will just not move up to follow other cars. That's been the problem all day long, just doing what he can to try to keep up. The 6 car of Mark Martin in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Track position was important on the last stop. They took on 2 tires for that. He did say the car is a little bit loose. He wants some air out of that right rear tire next time he comes down pit lane. Marty?
Dave, believe it or not, this is Carl Edwards' first ever restrictor plate race in the 13th. In that white car making a dive to the middle lane right now. Little loose in after flying back and forth California to Talladega. Getting intense, Matty.
It sure is, Marty. And Casey came in the 9 car, just dropped back to 23rd. He's had a very impressive run today. But the biggest thing about today, Tommy Baldwin told me, for Casey, is just to learn. Learn the nuances of the draft, Dave.
Kerry Earnhardt came here earlier this year, running again at Talladega. Did it on lap 94, took on 2 right side tires, no changes to the chassis for Kerry. 2 car of Rusty Wallace on the last stop, another 2 tire situation, right sides to the Blue Deuce. He pitted on lap 95. No changes to the chassis, the car handling well for Rusty Wallace. Bill, what's it look like from up there?
I've got my eyes closed, Dave. Sometimes I'm afraid to watch. Great job down there, you guys. And, boy, they have really started to turn up the intensity a few notches here.
Yeah, they're not, their patience has been thrown out the window about 25 laps ago. So these guys are all trying to get to the front.
Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson have both led 35 laps now. Obviously, 5 additional bonus points for whoever leads the most laps.
Jimmy Johnson, I'm surprised he stuck back there in 15th PP because he was a very, very strong race car and he's not working his way up yet.
Another round of pit stops not that far away. We'll step aside. If anything happens, we'll break in. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. We are under caution at Talladega. 1 car involved, the 99 of Carl Edwards. It was not an accident. We'll show it to you. The cars are just now coming around to the caution flag. The white car of Edwards, Benny.
It looks like maybe the engine has expired in the 99 car. We see a lot of smoke coming out of the car, and he said, everything, all my belts are on, the water temperature is fine, but I'll take it down pit road. I said, no, go straight to the garage. Marty?
It was an engine, and they congratulated him on what was a terrific job of driving today for Carl. Had made his way to the top 10 after racing in California last night, BP, and then coming back to race Talladega today, but it is an engine failure, which may throw some concern into the Roush camp for the other Roush engines. You know, Kurt Busch being second in the championship, obviously also has Roush power, as well as Mark Martin.
Okay. Carl's done a good job this year.
Car.
Terrific job.
Carl Edwards was 10th last night in the truck race at Fontana. Take a look at the unofficial results from last night in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Todd Bodine got the win, VP.
Congratulations to Don Arnold. He's been around this sport for a couple of years. He gets him a victory in the truck series. Attaboy, Don.
Bobby Hamilton continues to lead the championship standings, followed by Dennis Setzer. There's Carl Edwards, 3rd in the standings, 148 back with 5 to go.
Still a pretty close race there.
Yep. This is the last off weekend for the NASCAR Busch Series. They're back on the track next week at Kansas City. Martin Truex Jr. leading Kyle Busch by 152 points. Are you, what are you doing next Saturday?
I get to play.
Do you?
Next Saturday, yep.
Oh, boy.
I get to go.
See Dale Jarrett working on his...
Taking the ice pack out.
Uh-huh.
Yep, which is a water pack right now. Water bottle.
You stood out the window. You see, he held the steering wheel with his knee. He brought his knee up against the bottom of the steering wheel and held it in place while he took the ice pack out.
Okay, pit boys, get ready because a lot of guys are coming your way. Jeff Gordon, Earnhardt Jr., Busch, Nemechek, Jeff Burton, the top 5. They head for pit road. Marty Snyder, go to work.
Well, Bill, Kurt Busch ran second for most of that segment. Comes to pit road actually in third. He has a little bit of right front damage where he made contact with a 24. The right front fender bit in just a little bit. They're going to, again, make no chassis changes. Only change Kurt when it was a windshield tear-off. Dave?
Jeff Gordon said, I'm not tight anymore. No adjustments to the car, 4 tires. Pull that tape on the front if you can. Craig Carrillo tried, but he didn't. It wasn't a priority. Matt?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. says the car is loose into the middle of the corner, then tight from the center off. They were going to make an aggressive air pressure adjustment, but he didn't want to over-adjust. Just a slight change for Jr. Good stop.
I'll say.
Crowd loves that one.
Yes, they do.
But Mike Wallace changed just 2 tires again. Uh-oh.
Where's he going?
Jamie McMurray. What happened to Jamie, Marty?
He spun on pit road, VP. And I don't know exactly why he spun on pit road. We'll find out. How about that?
Good idea.
Wow. So we'll sort that out. We'll position the leaders for you when we come back to Talladega after 124 laps of racing.
Still outside. Push. There you go. 4 wide.
Caution here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Jimmy Johnson, 4th in the championship standings coming into Talladega. Slight contact on pit road. He's made a return appearance. The Lowe's guys are trying to repair the cosmetic damage to that right front corner of their race car. Chad Knaus on top of the pit box, calling out the orders as Corey Quick and another few of the other crew guys going to work on that right front corner. Also putting some tape on the front grille of this car as well.
We're going to find out if that's just cosmetic or if there's suspension damage there. Let's take a look at it.
Well, he's going to bump the 9. He's going to leave, and he's going to drive in the side of the 9, and that looks cosmetic to me. Okay?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to hurt too much.
On board with Jimmy.
Ready. Dig. Go. Go.
You know what? When you say go, a driver cannot see anything out of the right side of the car. You're completely reliant on your team to tell you when to go. Sometimes they'll say clear 3 lanes or go 1 lane or whatever, but a driver cannot see in that situation. So
now, there's Jamie McMurray successfully finding his pit stall. What's the story down there, guys?
And safely finding it this time, Bill. He said he just lost it when he left pit road last time. They are diligently cleaning the windshield because about a fourth of the way into the race, he had no more tear-offs. They accidentally took all of them off. They have a little left side damage when he went in the grass. Elliott Sadler also in front of him, 2 pit stalls. They're putting the 3rd battery in the 38 car now. The voltage has started to drop down once again. They're going to take no chances. About 8.5 volts, putting again the 3rd battery now in the 38 car. 6th place man in the championship.
they got to shorten that thing somewhere, don't they, VP? Something's draining that battery if they got everything.
I think the alternator is quit working on the car. And 48 back in again.
They'll continue to work on that car. We will update the Jimmy Johnson situation. Mike Wallace is scored as the leader at Talladega. Time to take a look at our Wrangler 5-star finish. It was right here, Talladega, in the Talladega 500 in 1981. And that circle was Ronnie Bouchard. In a 3-car sprint to the finish line, Bouchard gets by Darrell Waltrip and Terry Labonte to take the checkered flag. It was Ron's only NASCAR Nextel Cup victory.
And his dad, oh, here we go, green flag. Mike Wallace has the car in front, the 09, Junior.
For long, I don't think.
And Mike's on 2 tires on his most recent stop. So he has come full circle from bringing out an early caution to leading at Talladega in the EA Sports 500.
Oh, smoker. We have some damage, left front fender damage on someone. Instead of 9.
On the restart, somebody must have got into him, I bet.
Well, if that's the 9, somebody got into him on pit road.
That left front, I guess he might have blown up. I thought it was fender damage.
Meanwhile, back up front.
Is that tire ruffle when the 48 hit him, VP?
No, I don't think so. I think that's just low air pressure on the 09 car. But he is coming to pit road.
No, the 9 car hit the 48 on pit road.
A black flag for the 16 of Greg Biffle for passing on the left on the restart.
Before the start-finish line.
Can't do that. Let's not forget the 41 car got the lucky dog. He's been a fast race car all day long, so he's back on the lead lap.
And Mike Wallace is losing the lead as we speak as Junior goes by, and the 97 of Busch goes by. Burton 30.
He's in the middle and
no friends, but he got one now, maybe. Kasey Kahne on pit road and on his way off. Matt, how about an update?
Cosmetic damage, Bill, to the left rear quarter panel. He had a tire rub. Tough break for this young man.
Yep.
48 hit him. That was where the 48 got into him. You're right, guys.
They're going to second-guess themselves on that for not coming back down pit road under that lengthy caution after that contact.
Because the 48 sure didn't.
That's right.
They came in and had the time to fix it and did the right thing.
And while the 48's in the chase for the championship, Kasey Kahne, the rookie in that 9 car, is in a chase for that 11th spot and his first Nextel Cup win.
He's going to have to hope for a caution in order to, well, he's probably going to go a lap down.
Yep.
As they run now in the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup, Junior has a 3-point lead on Kurt Busch. Jeff Gordon, the previous leader, is 25 back.
Going to hurry up before this lap is over.
Yeah.
We'll see who leads this lap. If it's Junior, that would give him the most laps led today. Jeff Burton's going to try and take it from him.
I think he did.
Yes, he did. So Jeff Burton.
We talked about Ron Bouchard with that Wrangler 5-star finish.
That's right.
His dad was watching the race on TV, and they had an outage, power outage or something, and the TV went off just as he was crossing the line. He didn't know who won. He shot the TV. Yeah.
Now, if I'd shot the TV, what would have happened?
You would have missed.
That's right. You would have missed it.
That's right. That goes back to shooting clay pigeons with Matt Kansas last week.
No, you were shooting at clay pigeons.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Wally.
9 car still got a little bit of smoke in that left rear.
I know Alan Bestwick's watching. And my respect for him growing every lap after being up there.
I don't know if I take that as a compliment.
Alan on the bench after fracturing a couple of bones in his left leg playing hockey the other night. Hope to have him back at Kansas City next week. Junior, Jeff Burton.
Oh, these guys are starting to get greedy now.
Man,
they're starting to get greedy.
Oh, it's 50 to go, and they know it.
Yep.
they all jammed up behind that 9 car coming off turn 2. Scott Riggs, the 10 car right in front.
Here we go, 4 wide. Yeehaw.
And
4
Jeff,
wide, hold your line back to 3, 24 is outside. You're clear high, 24 is behind you.
Hold your line and hold your breath.
I'm telling you what, when you're 4 wide, like I said earlier in the show, you have got to be so precise. You can't move that car even a little bit. You got to be perfect because there's just no room when you're 4 wide going through the corners here.
I was impressed with the spotter on that 15, Joey Meyer. I mean, he told Michael exactly what was going on in just a brief sentence.
Here's our Napa field summary. 19 leaders as of right now. 39 lead changes. The 3 caution periods. We haven't seen the big one. We hope we don't. And 1 car out of the race, Bobby Hamilton Jr.
But they're still thinking about it.
And when you see this, I mean, how can you not think about a big crash? I mean, we got all these cars 3, 4 wide and bobbing and weaving back and forth.
They've been thinking about it since about 5:30 last Sunday.
And what they're trying to do, I mean, even when you're in the middle of it, what you're hoping to do right now is get in front of it all. You want to get to the front. You want to be first 1, 2, 3, 4, single file. You don't want to be in the middle of 3 abreast.
Oh, yeah, back with the 29 car, right. Kevin Harvick, the dark hood that we almost had a crash.
Wow, the 15 give an 8 a pop or what? That was a hard hit.
Jeff Burton to the inside of Earnhardt Jr., who has Michael Waltrip, his teammate, on his bumper.
That would have knocked Earnhardt's helmet back off his head a little bit.
NASCAR has asked the driver of car 1-5 to relax a little bit.
So did the 8.
Kenny Wallace on the very bottom of the racetrack, that blue car, trying to work his way back to the front.
And again, that's a DEI car.
I think Jeff Gordon's going to have to get either Robbie Gordon or the 97 car Kurt Busch hooked up with him if they're going to team up on Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip on DEI cars right now.
Jimmie Johnson currently running in the 19th position, or at least scored 19th last time by. this is what everybody in the garage did not want to see. The 8 and the 15 nose to tail.
You got it.
24 is kind of stranded. He's got no teammates around him right now.
Got to separate those guys.
Dave Burns.
Hey, Wally, did you notice that the 24 was singing a different tune this weekend, as in engine note? It was a lower rumbling sound than we've heard of him before. Would you like a detailed description of that exhaust system?
I would.
Yes, so would I. I asked Robbie Loomis about it, and he said, you know what? We tried something at Daytona that really worked, gave us more horsepower. We've been trying to keep the blankets over it ever since.
Wow, look at here.
Here we go.
Wow. That's a bump draft. A good one.
Oh, kid. Look how much it shoved the 15 car that we were riding on board with in front of the 24 when Jeff Gordon ran in the back of him.
But now these drivers are starting to think about who they run good with, and they're going to get with their spotters and say, all right, see if so-and-so will run with me, or see if so-and-so will stay with me. Now is when you got to start lining up your help and hopefully stick with each other to the end of the race.
Keyword there, hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
You can have a lot of friends till about lap 187.
They say, gentlemen, start your engines, but they're not involved in this race right now.
For more on the 8 car, down to Matt.
4 times the DEI pair of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip have finished 1-2. Under the last caution, Dale Jr. very happy with his car and joking around with his team.
All right. Keep me posted on laps. I mean, I got to get going here. I mean, got to get serious. Well, let me fall asleep here and let the end of the race go by. Hello, hello.
60 laps to go.
That is funny.
Look at Jeff Gordon tucked up right behind. Right there.
Michael will run right in the middle in the course. And just depends on the front straightaway.
There he goes. There goes Gordon. Like I said, he's got Jeff Burton maybe with him, and
I'll tell you what, that was a strong move of that
Sure was.
car.
And I bet he thought somebody was going to go with him, and they did not.
look at Earnhardt waving out the window saying, stay with me, guys. And I am shocked that nobody's gone with the 24. And there goes Kurt Busch. Wow, big move down the inside of Jeff Gordon.
Man, did he get a run on that 24 or what?
Now we got 2 teammates working together up there. 30 car Jeff Burton and Robbie Gordon. 31 car. Well, so much for that.
And here comes Kurt again.
He's in the drive in between the 30-31.
And he had to check up not to run the 30 over. 97 car's going.
Burton got the lead. It'll be 3 wide as they head into 1.
Uh-oh, Kurt Busch could be in trouble now because he's got 2 cars hooked up beside of him in the middle and 2 on the outside. He has no help. There's a 17 car.
Wow, 17 did not go with his teammate.
Jeff Burton leads. Matt?
The 29 team has won races, the 31 has won races, but this 30 team has never won a Nextel Cup Series race. Their best finished second in New Hampshire back in 2002. Jeff Burton, behind the wheel, has 4 top 10 finishes in his last 7 Talladega starts. This race car has been excellent all day. They have not made 1 air pressure adjustment. Marty, not even a wedge adjustment.
And meanwhile, his old teammate Matt Kenseth is making a terrific recovery. Remember, we showed you him earlier in the race, not able to catch the front pack. The car had a couple struggles with. The car's been tight for most of the day. But look at him. He's up there in the 3rd position, pushing Junior to the front. He told me this weekend, this is the best speedway car we've ever built. I just hope we can see that on Sunday. Looks like we're going to see it right now.
Jeff Burton in that 30 car, 104 races since his last victory at
Lots of contact between the 17 and the 8 car. Matt Kenseth trying to push Earnhardt Jr. up past Jeff Burton. He's going to squeeze up in front of Jeff Gordon. Good stuff.
And to follow up on that report on the 17, Matt's crew chief is Robbie Reiser. Spoke with him in the garage this morning. Robbie actually used the term excited about their chances today.
Hey, they qualify in the top 10s.
And they're usually excited if they qualify in the top 30.
Exactly. They were 7th.
What's that? Brendan Gaughan down there. Taking a look on the inside.
He has fought back from a speeding penalty as well.
Right there in the yellow 77 car. Brendan Gaughan running for the 3rd spot right now. And here comes 3 wide.
Yep.
More of it.
Now Kurt Busch, the 97, trying to work his way back to the front.
And you
you could look like a hero going in a 1 and a 0 going in one lap.
On board with Robbie Gordon.
He's in the middle as Kevin Harvick goes by on the outside. On the inside was Kurt Busch.
Oh. Boy, a battle at the front of the field. 46 laps to go at Talladega. Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt Jr. battling up front.
License and
We are under caution. At the Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama, a multi-car crash.
Jeremy, is that up? Let's see it, but there's Bobby Hamilton 32, Jimmy Spencer in the 4, Jeff Green in the 43, and the 19, Jeremy Mayfield.
One of the contenders in the chase for the Nextel Cup.
Well, you know, Jeremy Mayfield had the problem in Loudon, New Hampshire, and I said at the time I thought he still had a chance to win the championship. I thought you had a mulligan. I don't think you have 2 mulligans. I think this does take him out of the chase for the Nextel Cup in 2004.
The only argument to that is we got a long way to go here. And he's got 9 other contenders to see what happens to them. We did have a report that Elliott Sadler in the 38 was having trouble. That's the 43 car of Jeff Green, stopped, being attended to by the track officials. There's the 38 of Elliott Sadler, a report that he might be pushing water.
And if he's pushing water, what you see out of the windshield, normally, well, I don't know what the overflow is on these cars, but it's either in front of the right front of the windshield or in the back of the car. If the car's hot, it's going to be pushing water out of that overflow.
And when they get water, when you run out of water, they simply overheat. And or Jimmy Spencer trying to bring his beat-up car to
Come out there now. You got to brake.
Let's see what might have happened.
Well, it looks like the 43 got tagged by the 02 car.
Hermie Sadler.
And
Mayfield nowhere to go.
Yeah. And then, like I said, when something like that happens at a racetrack like this, I mean, sometimes, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you cannot do anything about it. Like Jimmy Spencer was up there in the high line, he had nowhere to go. Track is blocked.
Some nice moves there to avoid being a participant.
And once again, Terry Labonte, remember, yesterday in practice, he barely missed the 42 car. Well, he barely missed a spinning car there. There they come.
45 laps to go. They're on pit road. Marty.
They told him, Matt Kenseth, be very careful coming to pit road. Windshield tear off, down on the track bar, half of a round car, just a little bit loose, and only 2 tires for the 17. Dave?
Jeff Gordon quietly confident on the radio. No changes desired on the car. They will change the 4 tires. Fill it full of fuel. Cannot make it from here, Matt.
A 4-tire change for Jeff Burton again. No adjustments. Tony Eury Jr. on the 8, calling for a 2-tire change. They let the jack down slow. That way they can get it full of fuel.
Pit road. Michael Walton will come off in 2nd spot. I thought maybe Scott Riggs was in 3rd. Matt Kenseth in 4th.
So under caution after a 4-car incident here at Talladega Superspeedway in Alabama. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the first off of pit road. Jeremy Mayfield's hope for the Nextel Cup, perhaps going up in smoke. Working lap 146 of 188 here at Talladega, still under caution for a multi-car accident on the track, but it was not the big one. Jeremy Mayfield got into the chase for the Nextel Cup by winning at Richmond, but he may have fallen out of it here today, Marty.
And you can see the damage on the 19 car, Bill. A lot of front-end damage for Jeremy Mayfield, and a heartbreaker. You guys were kind of hanging back with a pretty good race car trying to make a move to the front, and then what happened?
Well, I don't know. It was like somebody got in the 43 or something and turned him in front of. Pretty loud in here, too, but what do? You know, you just ride out to what happens.
This one will leave a mark. A lot of damage to fix. I'm not sure whether or not get this car back in the race, Bill.
Also had trouble that Benny talked about at New Hampshire, but you have to give Jeremy credit. His attitude has been outstanding through some very disappointing races.
Yeah, I mean,
and stuff none of his own doing. Right. He had nothing to do with it. In both instances, he was just riding along and boom. Trouble in front of him or around him.
So Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the race off of pit road. Behind him on the track will be his teammate Michael Waltrip, the defending champion of this race. The rookie that has run so well today. Scott Riggs, who was strong at the start of the race in third, followed by Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson, who has worked his way up to fifth after that contact on pit road. Let's go down to pit road to Marty Snyder.
Bill, in April of 2002, a plane crash not far from here almost claimed the life of Jack Roush. Today, he's the subject of our Built Ford Tough Moment. Jack returned to his team just a couple of weeks later and watched Roush driver Mark Martin finish second in the season point standings. And in 2003, he watched his driver Matt Kenseth deliver him his first ever Cup championship in 17 years of owning a NASCAR team. Today, Roush Racing is in search of back-to-back championships with 3 drivers in the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup. To learn how you could win the official Ford truck of NASCAR, go to www.fordvehicles.com/chase.
And Jack Roush had a wonderful time in New York City at the banquet last year, as having dinner with Robbie Reiser and some other team members, and that's when it finally hit it that winning this championship can be a lot of fun.
He's a fierce competitor, boy. Always has been.
Well, we have pit strategy involved here. 2 tires against 4 tires. What do you think, BP?
Well, these guys obviously, if Earnhardt Jr. changed 2, then I think that's the best strategy. Michael Walker. I mean, these guys know what's going to work best, don't they, Matt?
And Tony Eury Jr. quickly, 2 tires. Can you guys make it on fuel from here, or are you short?
We're a couple laps short. I think everybody is. You're looking about 5, so we'll make a gas to go here about 8 to go, see what happens.
That's why he told Tony Jr., do not slide those tires. We're getting ready for green.
And there is the green.
Like you talked about at the very beginning of the show, when you make that pit stop, 5 laps to go with just a splash of gas. You can't slide those tires coming down to coming down to that entrance to pit road to 55 mile per hour at speed limit.
It'll be the most important pit stop they make today.
I think I've taken 4 tires over that last stop.
I would too, Bill. I think that's the way to go.
It's under caution. You're going to have an opportunity to get back to the front. We'll see what happens. The 24 is on 4. See if he can make it back up there. Junior leads, followed by the 15.
And Scott Riggs, that rookie that you talked about, he has no friend.
No.
48 back there. Jimmy Johnson in 4th spot. And BP and I talked about it earlier. We thought he was one of the strongest looking cars out there, and he's back up in the top 4.
And that's 17 of Matt Kenseth in the 3rd position, right on Michael's bumper in the 15. That's the car we talked about. Driver and crew chief were excited about coming in today.
There goes Jimmy Johnson, that 48 car.
And then there's 2 teammates above him. Matt Kenseth, 17 car, Kurt Busch in the 97.
Jeff Green involved in that last accident, treated and released from the infield care center. Mike Wallace in the 09, pushing the 48 of Johnson.
Is Kenny Wallace off the pace, Matt?
BP, Dale Jr., Michael Waltrip may have lost one of their wingmen. Kenny Wallace says something is amiss with the motor. They're talking about it on the radio.
And automatically you start thinking, well, what about the 8 and the 15?
Because if it can happen to one, it can't happen to the other 2.
But a lot of times these guys that run in the one-race deals, they may be trying something different in the engine than what they run in the regular car.
Good point.
And I think that a lot of that is going on today. I think in the 1 car they did try something, because I know in the 02 car, the Yates entry with Hermie Sadler, they did try some things that's not in the 38, 88, just to see if they'll run 500 miles.
Black flag, the 1 car, too slow on the racetrack.
All right, we'll see if anybody can do anything with these 2 guys up front, DEI.
An update on the problems for Elliott Sadler, Marty.
And they continue, Bill. He's now lost the main pack of the draft. They had to come down pit road this last time. The water temperature was up to 260 and 270. They filled it with new water. They went down to about 180, but now they've lost the draft, and they're having those problems with the 38 today. These guys have tried hard to keep that car up front, but just too many issues so far with the 38 car today.
Marty, what did he talk to you about on the countdown to green, about the chase for the championship starts here?
He said this is where the chase for the championship starts, and the guys after this race that are still in it will be the guys that can win it.
Can
guys get through it without any problems here at Talladega. We've already seen a couple guys have problems.
Junior leads, Matt Adams. While the 8 and the 15 run out front 1-2, their teammate Kenny Wallace has taken his car to pit road. He has shut the motor off. They now diagnose it as a possible battery issue, which is good news in a way for the 8 and the 15, so there's nothing wrong with the engine. But keep in mind, the 8 and the 15 are under a little bit different engine package than the 1.
What's going on with all these batteries today?
I don't know if they're just running a lot more fans and coolers and stuff here. I don't know.
And Dave Burns told us the 97 car.
Yeah, had to switch over to a different battery.
But they run 2 batteries, so they didn't have to come and stop in the pit and change batteries. Those cars have 2 batteries, and you just go over to another system if your first battery goes down, which prevented them from going a lap down and able to run in the top 5.
So next week, a lot of guys might have 2 batteries.
No, I think most of the time these guys do run 2 batteries. I'm not sure why they're not doing it here unless it's a weight situation. I don't know.
How about the 97, Marty?
Yeah, well, you're talking about the 97 running 2 batteries. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah, they've run that for 2 years now. They started running it right before Bristol of 2003. It adds 35 pounds to the car, but in that race, his first battery went bad for Kurt Busch. He switched over to the second battery. They went on to win the race. Same thing happened today. Battery number 1 died. He switched over, didn't even tell the team he was doing it. There's a switch right to his right, switches to battery 2. Everything's fine.
I've had that happen to me a lot of times, Marty, and it's nice to have that second battery, and that's what it's there for. It's there for a safety deal. I'm just surprised there's anybody running 1 battery anymore, other than it's a weight issue. To get away with it here, you can change the battery under the caution and not lose a lap. But boy, if you do that a lot of other places, you're going to go down a lot of laps on a smaller racetrack.
Sorry, Wally, in a few seconds, this pack will pass Kenny Wallace, who is back on the track after changing an alternator wire.
That was a quick stop.
Yeah, for something, raise the hood and do something with the alternator. Meanwhile, here comes the 29 of Harvick and Jeff Gordon trying to work that inside groove to get to the front. Dave, how about this 24 car?
Well, he may be looking for a new teammate or someone to go with him in the 29 car there, because he's been feeling like no one would. Here's what he said on the radio.
You got no friends out here. Not that I didn't already know that, but anywhere I go, they certainly are going to go the opposite.
Well, that's, like I said a little bit earlier, these guys are starting to look for guys that will run, with them.
And check this out on the inside, coming up behind Jeff Gordon. Tony Stewart. It's time to go.
And his teammate, Bobby Labonte, back there riding with them.
They have been hanging out at the back of the field most of the race. But now they are contenders. 34 to go.
They decided it's safe to go.
On board with Tony Stewart as he tries his best to close in. Rusty Wallace back in the thick of things.
We're going to take a break for our last green flag commercial, and then we will take you to the checkers if it stays green. 34 to go in the EA Sports 500 at Talladega. We remain under green at Talladega. Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues to lead, followed by his teammate Michael Waltrip, 158 laps of 188 already on the board. 30 to go. A developing story concerning another championship contender. The 48 car of Jimmy Johnson has been on and off of pit road because of an overheating problem. Matt Yoakum is watching that pit, and the 48 may be headed your way again, Matt. Here he comes.
Phil, they called him back into the pits. The water had climbed to 280 degrees at one point. A tough break for this driver who was 4th in the championship standings coming in. You heard him talk about the Discover car countdown the green. This was one of the biggest hurdles left in his championship chase. You can see some of the cosmetic damage to the front of the car from all the bump drafting. Earlier in the race, they put tape across the crease between the foot and the top of the grill screen. Now they're going to try to put water inside to cool it down. Ron Malik, one of the crew members, and Corey Quick, you can see them putting water in, trying to bring that water temperature down. The engine does sound sick, and it is smoking. Tough break for Jimmy Johnson.
That engine sounds really bad.
Really sick. Yeah, it's over. Yeah. That's too bad.
So Jimmy Johnson is pushed behind the wall. And another championship contender with troubles at Talladega. Joining Jeremy Mayfield, who was involved in the wreck, and Elliott Sadler, who has struggled from early in the race, although Sadler remains on the track.
And Jeff Gordon in the 24 car is running back in about 10th position on the bottom of the racetrack. Remember, earlier on, we reported that he liked the high line. I guess he just can't get up there, but he certainly can't get any help on the low line. He was running about 3rd or 4th. He's fallen back 5 or 6 positions.
He's got no friends out there, anything. Well, he's got some guys with him now, but there was about 5 or 6 laps where nobody was behind him. He was just running that line by himself, and that's why he lost all the ground to the leader, Earnhardt Jr.
As Ward Burton, the 0 car, finally gets up behind the 24 car.
28 laps to go. Take a look at the championship standings as they race.
You don't see Jimmy Johnson on this list so far.
Around 7th. Yep. 3 spots. Lost 3 spots.
And Jeremy Mayfield, as we talked about, involved in that crash. Now 283 points out with 7 to go.
And Elliott Sadler, back in 9th, he's taken a heavy hit today in the NASCAR Nextel Cup points.
Jeff Gordon with a blocking move on the 29 car.
The mirrors are coming in handy now.
Dave.
Well, the 29 would actually like to work with the 24 earlier on. Kevin Harvick radioed in, tell the 24 to stay in line. That was right before Jeff Gordon passed him, and with a move like that, I'm not sure how much Kevin will want to help Jeff.
No, I don't think so anymore. In fact, I think you'll see that 29 go by him if he can.
Thinking about it.
But Jeff is really blocking this morning. You know, yesterday we talked about Jeff Gordon has 4 mirrors inside that 24 car, trying to figure out where the cars are around there. We see Tony Eury Jr. in the red shirt go over and talk to Slugger and Labby, the blue shirt, trying to get some strategy when they're going to come down pit road, get their gas. They want to do it at the same time.
Slugger and Labby, the crew chief for Michael Waltrip in that 15 car. Again, those are teammates, the 8 and the 15. They're running 1-2 here at Talladega with 26 to go.
This morning, Jeff Gordon added yet another mirror to his car, wanting a fisheye mirror on the left doorpost that you can really see way out wide.
I don't think he has any more room for mirrors in that car.
He has 2 on the left doorpost.
Kevin Harvick's going to steal some of those mirrors after this race is over.
Nope.
He goes by Jeff Gordon.
Yep. Can't see him in his mirror anymore, can he?
It looks to me like the 24 car might have a problem.
He doesn't have any friends. That's his problem.
Maybe that's right.
Wow, look at the bumpers and the rear bumpers of these cars. I'll guarantee you the next Super Speedway, all these cars are going to be even more reinforced in the front bumper and the rear bumper.
More deal making going on. The 97 team of Kurt Busch talking to the 24 of Jeff Gordon.
I mean, Kurt Busch is up in 4th spot right now, so I don't know what they'd be talking about.
We're talking about probably what lap they're going to come on. We're coming here in case nobody else does. Because Jeff has lost the 48. And everybody's been talking about it all weekend, all week leading up to this race. The powerful 1-2 punch and the 1-2 finishes delivered by Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. Including here 1 year ago.
With Waltrip the winner and Junior in 2nd spot.
And we talked about it earlier. Tony Eury Sr., the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr., said that they had talked about a plan where the setup for the 8 would be to lead, and the gearing for the 15 would be to push the 8 if he was in the lead. You don't believe everything you're told, but that looks like it's working. Yeah. You especially don't believe it when you come here.
Marty, we got more deal making going on down there?
Oh, yeah, it's like a poker game down here, BT. The 17 and 97 are making a deal together. Jeff Vandermoss, the car chief for Matt Kenseth, has come to Kurt Busch's pits. Remember earlier, Matt did not help Kurt out. They now have a deal. They will work together wherever they go, trying to get those 2 Roush cars to the front.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. came on the radio and asked his team, how long will he have to sit out pit road for fuel? Tony Eury Jr. said, not long at all. You have to take care of those tires when you make your entry to pit road. Jr. said 10-4. He also said how he loved, as Slugger Labby comes back down to the apron to talk things over with Tony Eury Jr., He also said, I love it when I'm being pushed way up high in VP. It takes him back to your era when you guys used to rim ride in those old Dodges and big old Murphy Cyclones.
Yeah, he loves that high line. Always has loved it here. Unfortunately, he's had to run low sometimes because that's where the car was the fastest, but he would prefer to be up there next to the outside retaining wall.
You know, those Roush guys need to be also talking to that 01 car, Joe Nemechek. Because if they're going to pull out and kind of beat Earnhardt and Waltrip, they're going to need more than 2 guys. They're going to need 3 or 4 guys to go with them.
The 48 car of Jimmy Johnson retired from the race. You saw him pushed behind the wall.
See Nemechek there in 5th spot in front of Tony Stewart.
How about Kenny Schrader? We got to give a call to Kenny Schrader up there in the, where, Bill, 8th spot.
Exactly right. Got his first win here. That's Chad Knaus, the crew chief for the 48 car, talking to his driver, Jimmy Johnson, who will now climb out and turn his attention to next week's race in Kansas City.
Because this one's over.
For him it is. Dave Burns.
With Jimmy Johnson right now. Jimmy, saw you shaking your head talking to Chad. Can you describe how you feel?
I mean, just what can you do, you know? I think, I don't know, we had some damage on pit road, and that, I don't know if that hurt the air duct or what, or we couldn't cool the car down. But long and short, you know, cooked the motor, and if it's meant to be what the championship is, it'll come back to us. If not, you know, oh well, we've done all we can. It's not from lack of work or effort from this race team. These guys work their guts out day in and out, and I'm very proud of them. And we can just, you know, all we can do is race hard, and we can't control everything, so we'll just take it from there.
You've had 2 good runs, Jimmy. Everyone said that maybe you can have 1 mulligan in this. What do you think?
Possibly. I mean, now I'm in that group with the rest of those guys that, you know, have had some troubles. I hate to be there. You know, wish that I wasn't, but we'll just race hard and see what we can do from there. And everybody, it's a long year yet. We'll see what happens. You know, Lady Luck hasn't been too kind to many people in this final 10, so we'll see how she treats everybody else.
In April, Jimmy Johnson finished 4th guy today. He will not finish the race.
I still disagree with you on that one.
What's that?
I think you don't have a mulligan.
Well, again, you may be right.
We'll have to see. I mean, if everybody has that one, but...
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I think everyone is going to have trouble in at least 1 race. Maybe not.
With 7 to go after this race, right now Johnson 172 back.
With Jeff Gordon now, you know, this guy hasn't had a bit of trouble in either of these races so far.
Boy, he has got nobody down there with him.
Let's check down on pit road. How about the 8, Matt?
A lot of conversations between Slugger Labby and the Uries. They decided to pit around lap 178 to 179. The 15 and the 1 will come with the 8. They're all in the same boat. Meanwhile, Tony Eury Jr. also told Dale Jr., we are going to also make sure that we get enough just in case we get a green-white checker finish, which we didn't have here in April, Marty.
Same strategy for the Roush cars about lap 177, Matt. They're about 10 laps short. They want to pit just to be safe on the early side of that. For the Gibbs cars of Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte, they're going to pit about the same time whenever the other cars come. So 17, 97, 20, all of the same strategy. Pit with about 10 to go. Dave?
And, of course, Jeff Gordon wondering, will anybody come down pit road when I want to pit? They said they had to pit in about 10 laps, guys, so 24 needing fuel as well before this is out.
It's unlikely any of these cars can reach the finish without a splash of fuel.
I don't think any of them can.
I agree with you. But as soon as we say that, somebody will show up.
No.
It'd be tough. 18 to go. Again, those names in yellow and black at the top of the screen are the 10 drivers in the chase for the next Cup. Tony Stewart, who was invisible for about the first 125 laps, now 6th.
Now we've got Harvick, Jeff Burton, Robbie Gordon, all 3 teammates down working the low line. If these guys will just stay in line, they may be able to run them back up the front.
And they've got some help. They got several cars that have gone down and joined them, trying to get that low line going. After all, this is the shortest way around the racetrack.
But when they straggle like that, that's not going to help. They've got to stay in line.
And we talk about the anxieties drivers have here at Talladega. Well, right now, that anxiety transferred to pit road. especially to the gas man, who will have to fuel these cars when they pit. Marty.
Bill, how about the run for Tony Stewart? Remember, he hung out the back for most of the early part of the race. He's had a transmission problem for the entire day, but when it was time to go, he's been able to go. The 20 car moving to the front, Tony being very patient, showing his savvy at restrictor plate racing. Currently, he's got himself in the top 10 with a shot for a win.
See the speed, 193, 194, 195. See the speed, 195? No, it's 194 top speed. Dave, how about the 6 car?
Just talked to Pat Tryson, the crew chief. He said, I could go further than some of these guys, but I can't afford to miss a bunch of them coming on pit road for drafting partners. So I said, what lap? He said, whenever they all come.
Yeah. That bottom line is starting to work towards the front.
I think you're right, Wally.
But they just, like I said, they can't straddle. They got to stay tight.
There are some strong cars in that inside lane. Obviously, the 8 and the 15 have been good all day.
Every corner, they move up one spot just about.
There you go.
You see to the inside, all three of them lined up together.
That's
Joey Meyer.
Yep. Sorry, BP.
2 by 2 behind you.
Matt Kenseth in the 17 behind Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, they got that bottom line working.
You've been watching those Childress cars, Wally.
Yeah, like I said, when they got...
Here they come.
When they got 1, 2, 3. Harvick at 29. 30 car Jeff Burton. 31 Robbie Gordon. Those guys are teammates. And they're going to stay, hopefully if they stay with each other, they're going to go to the front. Then you've got Mark Martin in the 6 and Jeff Gordon in the 24. Two guys to have, good guys to have behind them.
These stout cars.
So there you go. They caught the front and now they're going by.
Harvick on the inside of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Marty.
The red colors trying to go to the front. Bill Kurt Busch in the back trying to get his way to the front. When he came here in April, he was second in points, only 5 points out of the lead. Today, he comes in second in points, only 1 point out of the lead. Here in April, he lost 120 points after finishing 36. He remembers that race. He told me this morning some of that decision-making may come into play here late in this race, whether he's aggressive or whether he's conservative.
Harvick led the last lap.
And the 97 was one of those cars in that big wreck.
Right.
Last time. And there you go. The teammates are working well together, and now they got to keep their heads. You know, there's still a lot of laps to go. All those guys in the inside just need to stay there and ride. Don't make it 3 abreast just yet.
And Kevin Harvick has to resist the temptation to move up in front of Junior. Almost got too far out there.
He's pretty far out there right now.
15 pushing the 8. Dave Burns.
Harvick will also need to pit for fuel. Look for him in 2 to 3 laps. He may have to lead the pack they've been talking about, Bill.
Michael Waltrip to the middle. Then Junior closes it.
Bunch to the middle. Earnhardt just went to the top.
In 97, Kurt Busch went by the 17 car, Matt Kenseth, and now Kenseth has fallen back to about the 10th position. Remember, he was running 3rd behind Michael Waltrip.
Dale Jarrett now up in that pack behind the 6 of Mark Martin.
This is about the time you see Dale Jarrett work his way back up front.
Former champion, former winner here.
And Junior goes back in front.
But look at those Childress cars bunched back up.
I think the 30 car's having a hard time staying with the 29 car. Robbie Gordon is doing everything he can to bump the back of Jeff Burton up to the 29, but it seems like Burton's having trouble hanging with the 29. And Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick had 4 top 10s in the 4 plate races a year ago.
Tony Stewart, that 20 car on the outside of Matt Kenseth, has some drafting help.
Michael Waltrip hasn't won in a year. He has talked about what's more important here, getting back to victory lane or helping Earnhardt Jr. race for the championship. We're back to find out. He has been a loyal partner throughout the race. 12 to go.
I think the pit stop's going to be real important. Waltrip knows the only way he can pull this off, I think, is to get out in front of Earnhardt Jr. after the pit.
Get with Michael. He said, get to the bottom.
Yep. There they go.
Michael's on the bottom. Michael's on the bottom. Will come this time, right, Tony Jr.? 4 coming this time. Good job there, boys.
That was Steve Mill, the spotter, telling him, Michael's behind you. You can make your pit stop. You can't come to the pits.
Hey, these guys are waving like crazy now, telling the cars behind them,
come in.
To see Stewart and those guys on the outside, they can't come to the pits.
Wave them off here.
It's going to be a mess. You've got to be single file when you get on pit road. If you are not, NASCAR warned the drivers this morning, you could be penalized.
And don't lock up your tires, because if you're only getting fuel, ooh, Martin's not going to make it. We got trouble.
Caution on the track. And Bobby Labonte.
And what happened was Mark Martin was trying to get to pit lane, and he was slowed down in the racetrack, and I think these guys went to avoid him.
Marty, they're going to get the splash of gas anyway for Kurt Busch. 3 seconds of fuel was all he needed. He's already gone.
What a huge break for these guys, because they had committed to pit road.
Matt. And the ace on pit road, Steve Meal, told them to go to the pit stop. They're going to go ahead and go away from their gas-only stop. They're going to go right side tires for Junior.
And the 15 car beat him out, so it's going to be real interesting to see what happens.
And so did several others.
Yeah, they must be about 15th and 20th now. No, about 10th, I guess, of the cars that made their pit stop.
10 to go, and this will be very interesting when we get this sorted out. Here's what happened.
Hey, watch. All these guys get jammed up, and you see Mark Martin sliding. Actually, it was Robbie Gordon. But all these guys some of them are trying to make pit road, and they couldn't make it. Sterling Marlin turned right to avoid a couple of cars in front of him and turned right in front of Bobby Labonte.
Dave, more on the 40.
The irony, Bill, is that they were on a don't-stop pit strategy, and I believe they could have made it. Sterling topped off late in the going, and they were able to save fuel by running in the back of the pack. They had never planned on having to come down pit road.
That is a tough break.
Well, we knew it was going to get interesting.
And the reason those guys couldn't get their way on the pit road is because they were trapped in that outside lane, and we heard how Michael and Dale Jr. worked early to get to the inside so you could get to pit road, and it did become a mess.
Well, that's right. When you got, as I said, going in turn 3, when those cars were 3 wide, they had to get to the bottom to get down to pit road.
Bobby Labonte climbing out of his car. It has been a frustrating season for that team, and a frustrating day here at Talladega. One more look. You got guys going really fast, guys going really slow.
There's a 6 car. You're right. Mark is the guy that was trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yes.
Bobby Labonte and Sterling Marlin on board with Rusty Wallace.
Hammer down. Keep going. Keep going. We'll come in on 180.
Whoa! If I make it through this, I'm coming on 180.
Now you see the huge problem that Rusty Wallace and all those, Mark Martin, all those other cars have. Now they've got to stop and restart behind all these cars that made their...
Or can they make it to the finish because of these caution laps and maybe not have to stop?
No.
Somebody will try it.
Well, do we have anybody that topped off really late that's in that bunch? We know Sterling Marlin did, but we don't know of anybody else.
There are a handful of them that did. The 38.
Yeah, but the 38's and 13th. We need somebody that's going to be... Although he'll be up front if those guys stop. Right. So we'll see.
Because there are under 10 laps to go, no lucky dog in this situation. Tony Stewart is currently scored as the race leader, followed by Matt Kenseth, Jamie McMurray, Casey Kane, and Scott Wimmer. Brendan Gaughan, Ward Burton, Rusty Wallace, Greg Biffle, and Mark Martin round out the top 10. 179 laps are complete of the scheduled 188. And remember, as opposed to what happened here in the spring race, we can go green-white checkers at the end.
I take it pit road is closed.
Pit road is closed, so the cars will stay out on the track. Tony Stewart scored as the leader. We'll take a break from Talladega. Still under caution here at Talladega, where the top 14 cars on the racetrack have not pitted. But there could be a problem for Michael Waltrip, a report that he has a tire going down on his car.
What's Brendan Gaughan? What's he hanging back for?
I don't know. NASCAR wants you to keep the field tight. I don't understand why there's such a gap there.
Yes, because if the guys behind him, they can't pass him. Right. But if they want to pit, they need to get in there as quickly as they can. All right, here the cars come down pit road. chose not to pit.
Marty.
There's a lot of debate, Bill, on Tony Stewart's team as to whether or not to take tires. They decided not to do that. Fuel only for the 20 car, Dave.
6 car of Mark Martin coming in. He will stop, and they will put fuel only in the 6 car. No tire change for Mark. Matt,
Casey Kane, he came in and topped off for fuel the 9. He's already away. Meanwhile, the 15 guys up on the wall waiting for Michael Waltrip. Slugger Labby came on the radio and said, Michael, do you feel like you have a tire going down? He says, well, now that you talk about it, it kind of felt that way, so they called him to pit road. You can see the left rear tire is barely up as they're going to hit the lugs on the left side. Some good fortune, at least. It happened under caution for Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, bad fortune is that he had to come back in, and he actually beat the 8 car and a lot of other cars out, which I think would have been his opportunity to win this thing.
When they restart this thing, there's going to be 5 or 6 laps to go, and he's going to restart about 25th. Talking about the 15 car, Michael Waltrip.
Brendan Gaughan in the 77 car and Terry Labonte in the 5 car came to pit road on lap 146. That would be 42 laps to the finish if it ends on lap 188. The caution came out on 177, so we're working our 4th lap under yellow. The question is, can those guys reach the finish without stopping?
They may be able to, but you're going to see the field split like the Red Sea when the green flag comes out, because these guys will not be in front long.
One more commercial obligation here. Under caution, back to Talladega before they go green on NBC. 182 laps of 188 have been posted here at Talladega. Dale Earnhardt Jr. currently scored back. Let's find him here in the 11th position. You think it's easy making calls on pit road? Listen to this exchange as the caution came out when Jr. hit the pits.
Caution's out. Caution's out. We just go road. We'll go ahead and get our gas, ain't we, Tony? Hit forward. Hit forward. Getting our gas. Yes, sir. Tires, guys. Put 2 right, Tony. Come on. Get 2 right, Tony. There you go, Hershey. 2 right. Come on. Figure it, Tony. Let's just on 2. We're just running here. 2 right, boys. 2 right, gas.
Think you have to adjust quick in this business? There you go.
And the guys are still spinning out there behind them, the 18 and the 40. So they made the adjustment on the fly to go with 2 right side tires.
Oh, boy. We got a mix of cars up here now, and not a whole lot of time to get it done.
22, Scott Wimmer could not get fired, getting some help. Dave?
They actually had a good plan, take on 4 tires, and maybe we can move up back through, but Scott was riding the apron because he was very low on fuel, and in fact, it was out of fuel when he came into the pits. They've not been able to refire. Had trouble refiring it.
Got it fired now, Dave.
Yeah, that record got him going about 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Our coverage of NASCAR continues next week. Next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be on TNT for NASCAR Busch Series Racing from Kansas. And then Sunday afternoon, right here on NBC, 1:30 Eastern Time, it's the Banquet 400 presented by ConAgra Foods. As always, Sunday's coverage begins with the Discover Card Countdown to Green. And we look forward to having our buddy Alan Destler back with us next week at Kansas City. But I don't think he'll be in any relay races.
Okay, as we get ready to go, this is kind of like playing that video game, EA Sports.
Well, I'll tell you what.
A few laps to go.
Brendan Gaughan, a rookie, driving that Penske entry, Penske Jasper machine.
I believe Harvick and Busch are going to want to dispose of these guys as quick as possible.
And the 77 of Gaughan and the 5 of Terry Labonte make it without stopping.
Everybody's running.
Kevin Harvick took fuel only. Will that be enough? Will 2 tires help you?
Who's that? Is that Jeff Burton?
Ricky Rudd.
Ricky Rudd maybe making a trip to pit lane.
Passing on the left, possibly before the start-finish line. He made it back. No penalty for the 21 of Rudd.
Okay, if you give it back, you won't get penalized. So he saw what he did, and he backed off the throttle and did not take the spot.
Brendan, go ahead, Benny.
Kurt Busch, that 97 car, he has been fast all day. If he could get hooked up with a 31 or 29, he might have something.
But I'm not sure I'm letting him in line.
Oh, no.
Whoa! Oh, here comes the 8 car shot out of the barrel.
On board with Dale Earnhardt Jr., 5 to go.
You see how good this car is now, VP?
Tell you, he's not going to be bored now. That's for sure. He's going to try to shoot the middle. Man.
Falls in
And he has help.
Yeah, Kurt Busch back up the middle.
That's the 31 of Robbie Gordon, Harvick's teammate, pushing him to the lead, followed by former champion Dale Jarrett. Dave on the 29.
Kevin Harvick looking for friends. He's got the teammate Robbie Gordon behind him. Talked to the crew chief Todd Derrier this morning. He said, I know that if the 31 is with us, he can help us as long as he wants to. We'll see how long he stays there.
Oh, wow.
Nice move. Tony Stewart down to the bottom. Good move.
Have to stay above that yellow line to pass.
But Tony Stewart got in the corner and couldn't make the corner. Kurt Busch now tries to come back underneath on the inside. Matt.
He just told Mike Dillon, his spotter, BP, I could have passed him right there. Dillon says, I know, just be patient. As Junior's trying to make his way to the front.
These guys have got to stay lined up in front of Junior. Well, I don't even know if that's going to help.
3 to go. Junior in fourth, behind Harvick, Gordon, and Dale Jarrett.
Well, here comes Junior. He's got help.
Who's he got help from? Ricky Rudd.
Ricky Rudd, okay.
They squeeze to the high side. Now Harvick back down low. Gordon trying to stay on his bumper. Junior pushed by the 21 to second. Now looks high on the 29 of Harvick.
Man, look at this 8-car go. Oh, someone in the wall up there.
With you. Keep coming.
The fans on their feet. Junior around the outside.
Harvick's not giving it up yet. Needs some help down there. Wow, Robbie Gordon to the outside of Ricky Rudd. Well, there's not too much room up there.
Where did he come from? He's right behind Junior.
And Junior let that one 2 to go.
Somebody's smoking back there.
Yeah, someone got in the wall up in 3 or 4 just a moment ago.
Left front tire, Robbie Gordon. Got a left front tire,
There's a smoker behind him, too.
Yes, there's 2 cars smoking that's made contact.
Marty on the 20. Tony Stewart said earlier this week, somehow Dale Earnhardt Jr. and I always find each other on the racetrack. They found each other again. Remember, Tony said his car pushes better than it pulls. I think he'll ride right where he is. Remember the Daytona 500. Stewart was Earnhardt's new best friend.
I think Tony wants to win this thing just as bad as anybody else, though.
Coming through the tri-oval, they will get the white flag this time.
There he goes. Tony Stewart, take a look at the bottom. He's got no help.
And he lost his spot. White flag is out. Last lap at Talladega. Dale Earnhardt Jr. pushed by the car his father used to drive, the 29 of Kevin Harvick. And the veteran Dale Jarrett behind him.
Harvick did all his work earlier on the bottom, Junior.
Oh, trouble.
Jeff Gordon.
And there's a crowd.
Greg Biffle. Casey Kane.
Several cars involved.
But the caution's going
No, it's still green. It's still green.
Okay.
They're still racing at Talladega.
Last lap.
They will come to the checkers this time by.
So there will not be a green-white checker. The white flag is in the air.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking for his 5th win at Talladega. Works his way back to the front. And Junior, where his father won 10 times.
Oh, we got a car sideways in the
Race
trail.
number 5, the checker is out, and somebody upside down. Elliott Sadler
Again.
lands on his wheels.
Yeah, good save right there. You all right?
Sadler, who had that terrible tumble here a year ago, on his roof at the finish.
Well, if they left this race 10 minutes early, they missed it.
And these rescue workers, I hope these guys are paying attention. We have rescue workers on the backstretch attending to the wrecked cars there.
Yep, everybody shut her down pretty slow.
Biffle is back there. Unofficially, Earnhardt Jr., Harvick, Jarrett, Brendan Gaughan, and Kurt Busch. Tony Stewart, Mears, Nemechek, Gordon, and Ward Burton.
He's opening a roof hatch. He's opening up the roof hatch.
You see the roof hatch open on Elliott Sadler's car. He did this a little while back, didn't he?
Yeah.
About a year ago in this race.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to finish this race with all 4 tires on the ground. He did. But he just didn't keep them there the whole time. There is Elliott Sadler.
He's all right, guys. He's out.
That'll make the highlight reel.
Yep. Okay, down the pit road, Matt.
We've got the Uries, we got Slugger Labby and car chief Tony Urie Jr. He came on the radio and asked where he was, and you guys told him he could still do it, restarting as deep as he was.
Yeah, he started 10th, and he went there in 4 laps, and it was awesome. And I just told him, I said, you know, you got to pump yourself up, but you done it when the race started, so let's do it again. Kind of gambled there putting the tires on, but I think it paid off, and, man, it's great. Great.
Their 5th Talladega win. His dad won here 10 times. driver had more than 4 wins here until today. Now Dale Earnhardt Jr. has 5 and continues his quest in the chase for the next helicopter.
And that helped a lot.
Unofficially, he will be the leader, 26 points in front of Kurt Busch. Now let's go back and recap the closing lap of this race. First of all, the wreck at the start-finish line.
We'll take a look here, and Elliott Sadler down on the bottom.
On the right-hand
Somebody
side.
blocked him.
That's Ford Burton there.
Those guys just all squeezed down.
Yep.
He got hit in the right front fender, turned his car inside the racetrack, and the worst thing you want to do with a race car, get on the grass.
The roof flaps deploy, but not enough to keep that 38 on the ground, and Elliott Sadler takes the Talladega tumble.
At least it didn't tumble like it did last year.
He's getting better at this.
Yeah.
Well, that's because he puts on the brakes once it gets in the air, right? That doesn't help.
Wow.
And again, here they come to the finish line, which is at the end of the road. And a frightening sight.
Yeah, especially for the flaggers.
Yes, sir.
Man.
And this is what happened to Elliott Sadler 1 year ago in this exact same race.
Going in turn 3.
This was a little bit rougher than the one we just saw.
Yeah, because watch this, the tumble I talked about.
Now I know why those M&Ms look so scared on that car. Once again, it's a tribute to the safety of these cars. Now on the backstretch, on the last lap.
Casey Kane, hard. Up the outside, he's got a good run. Not sure what, he got sideways.
He ran up on that 15.
And the 24 barely gets through there. He makes contact, but someone gets in the back of Greg Biffle and just turns him head on in the wall.
And Biffle hits the 9 of Kane.
And the engine is, the accelerator is hung wide open, sitting back there against the wall.
And here's Junior on the front stretch.
That's accelerator.
That's what you're hearing.
That's what I'm hearing there. That's accelerator, not Biffle.
Our Chevy winning moment. Chevrolet congratulates Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the 8 car. Monte Carlo winning again today. A big win for the Chevrolet Monte Carlo. No cars dominated Cup racing like the defending manufacturers champion Chevrolet in American Revolution. Dale Earnhardt Jr. knows this trip well, the one to victory lane at Talladega. Okay, he pulls into victory lane. Let's hear from some of the other finishers, Marty.
Well, Jeff Gordon's had a moment to cool down, and boy, you barely missed the 9 car there. I don't know how you did that, and walk me through those last crazy few laps.
I didn't barely miss him. I just, you know, came home with the car rolling on all 4 tires because I hit him. I saw his left rear come apart there, and I knew it was going to be close. But, you know, that's why you love and you hate this place because, you know, it can give you a great day like it gave Junior, or you can be up there leading, you know, and the next thing you know, you can be in a wreck or, you know, 5 to go in the back of the pack. So it was unfortunate for us. We had a great car, and, you know, we just had to take what we could get there. We knew we were in trouble. You know, when all those guys came to pit under green, I was waving at the 22, and he just had no idea that, you know, all these cars are going to pit. And, you know, if I would have gone the brakes, he'd have ran right in the back of me. So that messed the rest of our day up.
Speaking of Junior, he's in victory lane with Matt.
And for the 5th time in his career, Dale Earnhardt Jr. scores a victory at Talladega. So many drivers. Junior, so many drivers came in here just wanting to survive, but you wanted to use this as a stepping stone to the final 7 races, and you did so in pretty dominating fashion.
Man, I believe in this, man. That car was awesome. You come down pit road, and the yellow come out, and Tony Jr.'s like, 2 tires, and man, we just smoked them guys that was on them old tires, and the car just drove right around them in the corner. Great engine by DEI, Richard Gilmore. Everybody back in the motor shop, the fabrication department, the body was awesome. I beat the front bumper all to hell today, and still there. Budweiser, Remington, all our sponsors. I mean, it's a good win for us, man. It's 5 this year. I just can't believe it.
And that was your goal going in, and you unofficially take over the championship point lead again.
Hell yeah, man. We just want to keep on doing good, man. 1 race at a time. We might just win it.
what does it mean to win here, not only once, but to win here 5 times?
Well, it don't mean shit right now. Daddy's done won here 10 times, so I got to do a little more, do more winning, but we're going to get there. And he was the master. I'm just following his tracks.
And he's following it very well, Bill.
And certainly our apologies for his enthusiastic language in victory lane. Dave Burns?
Kevin Harvick, 3rd here in April. 1 better, but I know you wanted 2 better.
Well, I mean, all you can ask for on these restrictor plate tracks is a chance to win a race. And Todd Berry and all my guys on this GM Goodrich Chevrolet team gave me a heck of a race car. And I knew the only car that was going to be able to get by us was the 8. And because he gets the most help and has one of the best race cars. So I got to thank Robbie Gordon, Jeff Burton. When we were all 3 lined up there, I mean, we gained 10 or 15 cars. So got to thank Coca-Cola, Sylvania, Duracell, everybody involved, Realtree, Purdue Chicken. Did I miss anybody?
I'm not sure. I'll read your uniform.
I missed a lot of them, but I know you don't want me to say anymore. So
hey, no, I got to ask you, though, when you were looking up front there, you could have run with the 20 as well, but did you just think get first in class at that point?
Well, we were here to win the race, and you know, we wanted to do everything we could do that, and so that's what we did, and got to thank Lugs and Reese's too. Can't forget those.
Very good. Kevin Harvick, 2nd today. Marty?
Dave, Matt Kenseth survives for a 14th place finish in there at the end. That was pretty crazy, wasn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it was real crazy. We were just kind of stuck there in the middle and getting run into and running into people, and everybody was bouncing off everybody the last 2 laps. So it's kind of a difficult situation that we're put in, you know, at 185 miles an hour being pinballs like that. But, you know, overall we survived. We still have a car in one piece. It's the best speedway car we ever had. I thought we were in a good position to finish in the top 5 before that yellow came out under that green flag pit stop.
And he felt happy for his good buddy Dale Jr., who turns 30 this week, as he mentioned. Dave?
Dale Jarrett coming home in the 3rd position today. Talk about that last strategy to top off and then stay out.
Yeah, we just topped off, and my car was driving the best that it had been. Mike worked awful hard to get it to drive good, where I could really stay wide open the whole time. So
you were struggling over the radio there.
Yeah, we're struggling. You know, it's hard enough for a car not to drive reasonable here, but I couldn't get in the pack and run hard like I wanted to. So we kept working. Mike got it to where we wanted it, and we thought our best chance was to try to get some clean air to it, and just didn't have enough for Junior. I just told the radio people, you know, he gets credit for having a fast race car, but I'm not sure he gets enough credit for being able to drive it, because he does a hell of a job driving the race car. And
you were impressed.
Yeah, congratulations to him, and we did a great job, and I want to say thanks to all our sponsors and all the UPS employees and all the fans out there. We appreciate the support. We're going to try to break this losing streak next week at Kansas.
Dale Jarrett, another strong finish, 4th last week, 3rd here today. Bill?
Former series champion Dave, who does a pretty good job with the wheel in his hands as well. The unofficial results here from Talladega in the EA Sports 500, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
A lot of yellow in there, VP. There's a couple guys, Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart.
Those drivers in yellow are the 10 drivers in the chase for the Nextel Cup.
But we got to go back here to find the previous leader of the NASCAR Nextel Cup, Jeff Gordon.
All the way down in 19th. Terry Labonte came home 21st. Elliott Sadler, upside down, still comes home 22nd.
That's spectacular.
Michael Waltrip way back in